Hello everybody and welcome back. I'm World Dragon and this is Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader. Hello Defender, yes you are in time for this beautiful stream to start. Now when we finished last time we had just gone and recruited our navigator Cass. And unfortunately we've jumped back a little bit because I can't do manual saves. So the game's autosave is jumped back a smidge. So we've had to go back to this point. We're just going to basically run through this next conversation. We did it at the end of our last stream. And then we're going to keep pushing forward. Now, we've got the prison planet. I think it's more of a bit of a prison asteroid, really. We've got the Astropathic Choir, or we have the actual planet of Rykad Minoris. Now, I think for this next, we're going to go and do the Astropathic Choir. It's new content. By that I mean it comes with the Void DLC. Yes, the Void Shadows DLC. And so that's what we're going to be doing to start with. Like I said, we're just going to kind of skip through this. Yes, she gets rid of my Voxmaster. I do look glorious in my giant throne. That's where I should always be seated. What did you wish to speak about? After a few seconds, blah, blah, blah. Saving me honorably, didn't exploit her. I also saved her servants. Why do you refuse red paint? I asked that last time. Uwe will give his blood. I mean, more about what the rituals entails. We couldn't understand it. Doesn't want to reveal secrets. Okay, I should ensure necessary items are delivered. Thank you. Okay, then we go through our Navigator's Ritual. Oh, Voxmaster is back after being dismissed. Okay, initiate communion in ritual. Uwe gets his blood drained. It will not happen again. Leave her to finish. I think that's what I did last time. It all happens. And then we had this lovely statement. I fear I have unfortunate news. Endless blackness has spread across the canvas, dividing what should be whole in two. And my sight cannot glimpse the light of the Emperor as clearly as before. I cannot turn around. My brush only draws me onwards. The way is blocked. And she has finished the communion. As you're up to begin your visit in the Rykad system with different destination, the situation would have been quickly unstable. Fortunately, we then get to choose what we do. Now, yeah, I was going to loot everything and regain some profit factor, especially since I lost one for grabbing a mercenary, which I was very unprepared for. But it's not a big thing in the grand scheme of things. But it was just a little bit of a surprise. I didn't know it was going to happen. We're still looking for an Engineer Prime. Both vessels, machine spirits who are desperately need of oversight by experienced tech priests. We're also missing some crew. Much more important, we have not yet located Heinrich Van Kallox. Thank you, Victus. That will be all for now. So, we've gone and had that. So, like I said, we have the prison planet. We have an unidentified void ship, who I'm pretty sure I remember who are. We have Rykad Minoris. We have this random astropathic station, which, like I said, is new. There was, didn't do this last time. Oh, hello. Yes, and then this is what we got to. The Lady Navigator has left her quarters and is causing a ruckus. And we walked into this conversation, and that's where we called it, but unfortunately it did not save. So let's go back into this conversation and continue from where we left off. And as per always, I hope all of you out there are being absolutely fantastic and looking after yourselves. And, yeah, happy to have you all here as always. Oh, what a beautiful bow from
Lord Captain,
Cassia.
my apologies. I did not notice your entrance.
I see you are fond of reading.
Oh, this. I found this fascinating read on one of the shelves. And I must say, it has caught my eye. Its every chapter is written in verse. I find it so beautiful and enrapturing. Urak 5 had a vast archive of its own, of course. Although most of the works within had to do with scholarly disciplines of some sort or another. Only in my sparse moments of respite was I allowed to escape into the pages of more embellished works.
I hope that you had ample time to calm yourself and your powers.
There are people on this ship who are far more impulsive and dangerous to others, and far less devoted to the God Emperor than a herald of the Navis nobility. But I did not need your words to see the shades of umber unease that whirl around your subjects whenever I am near. Were I not acquainted with such a reaction, I could have found their behavior and your question just now insulting.
She didn't like that one. Your only servant is Uwe.
No. It is not that at all, Lord Captain. It is just that Uwe is quite capable of carrying out his duties by himself. He is well accustomed to my whims and preferences.
Cassia cringes ever so slightly, adjusts the adornment on her forehead, then awkwardly hides her clawed fingers in the folds of her clothes. The natural appearance of navigators often becomes the topic of gossip among lowly servants and officers alike. It is unsurprising, then, that Cassia prefers the company of one who is used to how she looks.
One should not underestimate the navigators of House Orselio, Lord Captain. Like a shawl of pale smoke, a faint malaise hangs upon my shoulders, but it will not be the slightest hindrance to my duty to humanity, and my duty to you. Lord Captain, would you kindly explain to me why you are pestering me with these questions? Inquiring about my mood and my needs, showing an interest in the books I am enjoying. You are behaving as if you possessed a shred of fellow feeling
how much
for
do we
one
care?
such as I. I beg your pardon, Lord Captain. That was no way for a navigator to conduct herself.
Ooh. Well, last time in our playthrough, we did actually share quite a few emotions with Cass. So I'm not going to be doing that in this playthrough. I don't know if it's, like I said, possible to share so many emotions with any of the other companion characters, but we shall find out. And quite frankly, I think I've potentially got myself set on that hunk of a man called Abe. But I think I'm gonna go for number 2.
Yes, I understand. I offer you my apologies once more.
I don't think it's going to anger her, basically, in any way, because Cass and the Navigators, shall we say, are very much all about decorum and sort of discipline and, you know, proper upright standards. So I don't think, you know, requesting that she follows them, shall we say, is anyway going to annoy her. So I don't think it'll cause a rift, basically, is what I'm trying to say. but it just won't, should we say, foster any feelings. Right, let's continue with what we were doing. Let's go back to the Void Ship Bridge. I may quickly check in with a couple of companions, see what they're, if they have any thoughts, basically. But I don't think they will have. Personally, with my companions, one of the big things I want to do at the moment, however bad it sounds, is somehow get, there she is, Idira sanctioned, which is not going to happen, of course, but
Lord Captain, forgive me, but it would be like talking to a person born blind about colors. I could spend hours explaining, but it wouldn't make any sense to you.
fair.
Every Psyker feels their connection with the warp in their own way. One person might see spots and shadows out of the corner of their eye. Another feels fingers running down their spine. As for me, I've got a door in my head. One that's open just a crack. There's no way to close it, no matter how hard I try. I've just had to get used to the whispers from the other side. When I need to use it for work, I listen in more closely. But I usually just try not to notice it.
As I was saying, yeah, I want to become sanctioned simply because then I get to upgrade her psychic powers at like level 4, 14, 24 as opposed to 9, 19, 29, etc. What happened if your door burst open?
Well, if the door opens, that means somebody's planning to come in, right? But screw them. They're not coming through. Trust me. I know how to keep my valuable head locked up tight.
How do you live with this whispering in your head?
Training, habit, and a little amasec and a couple other things you can get on the lower decks. If you put all those together, it makes things bearable. Sometimes I even wonder if I'm imagining half the voices I hear. You know, when life on board gets a little boring. Better than listening to the living, anyhow.
Aren't you afraid of losing control?
Only losers who are afraid of their own gift lose control. Or idiots who never figure out what they are before it's too late. Or little kids who want to play around with their shiny new toy. If you don't know the limits of your abilities, or you're always bouncing around in your own head, that's a recipe for disaster.
Can you see my future?
Alright, that's what I'm here for after all. So, I'm just going to lean on that door in my head a little more, prick up my ears, and listen to what the warp's got to say about you. If you'll allow it, I can listen right now.
Sure.
All right, let's hear what they're whispering about you.
She laughs, rubs her hands together, and suddenly freezes with a vacant smile on her face, her head slightly tilted. You feel goosebumps appear on your skin, and your collar begins to waver ever so slightly, as if moved by a breeze from a half-open door.
I'm sorry, Lord Captain. The voices are going wild. I can't make out a thing. I'll try to rein them in, somehow. But for now...
Okay. Let's take my leave.
Of course. Always at your...
My augury is mental, basically. Let's have a quick run down here. Good old Abe, how you doing?
Lord Captain.
You may call me by my first name if you wish.
I thank you for the honor, but I must decline. As a former military officer, I believe in the importance of order in all things. Lord Captain.
Goodbye, Seneschal. And then we have... Obviously, Cass is off in a corner somewhere. Oh, wait, I've gone the wrong way. Here's Argenta.
Greetings.
Thank you for this conversation. We've had our mad conversation with her. And that's everybody. I don't suppose the Voxmaster's probably got anything. No. I don't think we'll get anything till we get past this first chapter and out of this system, basically. And then we might start getting rumors from the outside world. That's kind of what happens. Let's go to the astropathic station where things are going on. Members of a sacred cult operating aboard this ship have requested an audience. They wish to present gifts and introduce themselves to their new captain. What sacred cult? They call themselves the Blood-Spun Web. The cult defends the flagship both internal and external threats. Lady Theodora held them in high regard and looked favorably upon their activities. I am ready to receive them. I'll commence preparation at once. Okay, this is definitely the Void Shadows DLC coming into play. Like I said, as is the Astropathic Choir Station. That's a new one. So what do we have exactly? Oh, wow. And this looks like it's my introduction to the Blade Dancer. Those on deck watch in awe as the final figure moves gracefully into a ceremonial pose. Some of the officers whisper in excitement while others murmur prayers to the god Emperor.
The Undying Emperor commanded us to spin a web of blood around his children, and we obeyed. We obey still.
Wow. The masked cultists repeat the words in a mournful whisper. We obey still. So I'm thinking I thought she might be leaning towards heretical.
Death has whispered your name. We disown Domin Theodora. We renounce our oath to her.
Oh, interesting. Like I said, I thought they'd potentially end up going slightly heretical, but it looks like they could actually be dogmatic. Which is interesting.
And now we give the gift of our blood to you. It is the gift of death. Death has whispered your name. The followers of the tenets of the web swear fealty to their new overlord and offer proof of their devotion.
Hey, and they've given me a little gift.
We give you a blade, the silent verdict. The Undying One has chosen you to wield this instrument of death. We give you one of our own, Kibella. She will be your shield and shadow. And we give you the blood of these traitors. The tenets of the web will purify their souls.
Oh, I see an officer back there. Not just lowborn. Or should I say lower decks. There is an officer amongst them. You have heard many stories about death cults such as this one. These devoted holy assassins of the Imperium have turned death into a form of worship of the Emperor. They are exemplary slayers, invisible executioners, and the scourge of traitors, heretics, and fallen souls. Many righteous people honor them as votaries of the faith, whilst others see their fearsome rituals as friendly spectacles touched by madness. Examine the cultists. Cultists are all voidborn. Their lithe, sinewy bodies are clad in light armor, which allows them to move with an acrobat's nimble grace and strike with an assassin's swift surety. Their red and black vestments are adorned with sharp spikes and ritual jewelry. Where time and training have worn their garments threadbare, you can make out patterns of bleeding lacerations. The prisoners cower beneath the weight of your gaze. Blood drips down tear-stained faces of the captured officers, technomats, and workers. A word has been carved into each of their foreheads with meticulous precision. Traitor, heretic, apostate, renegade. The cuts have been diligently and regularly reopened to prevent healing.
These renegades committed treachery against their domin. Their lips once praised the name of Kunrad Voigtveer, but it is your name they will whisper as they cross over to the other side.
The death cult watches over my crew, they who honor the Emperor through killing, who devote their every deed to serving him, sacred executioners.
The domin has discerned our essence. This is a great honor for the blood-spun web. We have woven the bays of this ship together with the threads of our faith
for many years. We keep the greatest relic, his tarot, through which he sends us his blessed revelations. We obey the whispers of the Undying One. This is our service to him. This is our service to you.
Number 2.
I am the second spinner of the blood-spun web. The honor of this title is bestowed only upon those who have ushered more souls than... It is shameful to speak of one's own deeds. I'm here to become your shadow, not to make boasts.
Exactly, does a cult like Bloodspun Web do?
The tenets of the web teach us to read the threads of the future and understand the hearts of others. When a soul is filled with the poison of corruption, we know its time has come. We bring liberation. 3 strikes, 3 rebukes, 1 blade. This is how we serve the Undying One. This is how we serve you and your flagship. But there are others, the virtuous martyrs who contravene his design without realizing it. Those who have come too close to faltering or committing an apostasy, but have not erred yet. We present such souls to the Undying One.
Mentioned the tenets of the web.
Our laws and teachings, our philosophy and way of life, our art of combat and spiritual dogma. The tenets are the blood-spun web itself. Humanity owes its existence to the Undying Emperor's sacrifice. It is he who protects us from a darkness of terrors. Hence, each of us has a duty to serve him, and a duty to die for him. To act otherwise is to waste the life that has been given to us by the Undying One, to become a thief. We help others understand this. We help them to live and die righteously.
You kill innocent people, you have my blessing instead of helping those not curtly. I find that acceptable. Wink or look away as they stare at you. Or have you brought this rabble to the upper decks?
So you may offer the souls of these traitors as a gift to him. You have the authority to order their execution. Their blood will bind us together through him. For the God Emperor, the Undying One is death itself. The Undying One is duty itself. Give the order, Domin. Let a spinner of the blood-spun web undergo the test of a sacred trial.
Give weapons to the traitors. It is time for Kibula to prove
herself. A dagger
herself.
that has not sliced through sinew is nothing more than a toy. Let the final dance begin.
Now, I'm hoping I don't actually have to fight this. I'm assuming this will simply be a display.
Your Emperor won't save you!
I will set them
Okay, no,
free.
I do have to do this.
Emperor won't save you!
Start the battle, but then if I get to use death from above, then,
Brings me no pleasure.
you know, then they all pretty much die quite quickly. And then Blade Dance makes 3 melee attacks against random targets. We also have next single target melee attack splashes blood in a 5-cell cone behind the target. Death Cult Assassin and allies in the affected area gain the Blood Blessed effect. Every enemy in this area, including the initial target, suffers the Blood Stained effect. Both effects last for 2 rounds. Additionally, all cells in the affected area are now covered in blood for 2 rounds. Whenever the creature interacts with such a cell, it receives an additional +1 stack of Blood Blessed or Blood Stained. For every 10 wounds the Death Cult Assassin loses through the entire combat, each creature affected by Blood Blessed or Blood Stained gains 1 stack of the corresponding effect.
The shadows will see it. Death is a blessing.
Okay, well there's 3 more of them dead. And then...
As honor orders, the other side awaits.
Now, I feel like that was slightly scripted, because obviously if that guy and that guy had stayed alive, I wouldn't have been able to kill them in one swift attack. Now they're going to go and stand in a way I'm sure that will allow me to get amongst them.
Cry, plead, pray. You cannot alter your fate.
Your Emperor won't save you!
Start in the same position and pretty much do the exact same thing.
Killing brings me no pleasure. As the tenants demand.
They'll continue. Start cutting people up. We can't quite reach the last one. Creates pool of blood, which has the same properties as if created by with the running blood ability. Let's have a quick look. Bloodstained. The creature suffers plus 2% more damage for each stack of the bloodstained effect, and blood blessed deals 2% more damage for each stack of blood. He's going to come up to me and attempt to stab me with a knife.
True believers will inherit all.
There's a beautiful dodge.
I shall not by the whip.
And then we're going to simply leap behind him because it looked glorious and finish him off. Could have just cut him down from where I was, but it didn't look as acrobatic or as fun, quite frankly, so... A cut to the heart, a cut to the throat, a cut to the stomach. These wounds have been inflicted according to his pleasure. The blood of the apostates will wash away the stain of their treachery, so that their souls may prostrate themselves before the Undying One's throne and beg his forgiveness. I have acted with reverence and shown proof of my loyalty. Will you accept me? Domin Sisi, will you make me your shield and shadow? Your ladyship, the spinners of the Bloodstone Web were watching, tracking, and killing von Valentius enemies long before the warrant of trade passed to Lady Theodora. However, their blade has also been known to cut short the lives of highly upstanding persons. But I certainly do not in any way condemn the deeds of the deeply esteemed cult. I am sure they must have had a good reason. The cultists are the scourge of the seditious. They bring the unrighteous to ruin. The enforcers respect the blood-spun web, but we share a common goal. To bring his light and his harsh justice to the darkest depths of the ship. Scourge of the seditious or not, folk are afraid of them for a reason. A couple of watches ago, these spinners took a train driver to pieces for some kind of ritual. I don't know what old Malik did to earn that privilege, though. And who's going to feed his family now? If that's a lower decker problem. What matters is that Bloodspun Web serves you faithfully, Lord Captain. My predecessor's predecessor once delivered a sermon about how the spinners saved this vessel from the servants of the arch enemy. The Bloodstone Web paid the price in blood, a river of scarlet that flooded the decks from bridge to bilge. They became the blood of the flagship and pulse in its veins and the beat of its heart. Their great sacrifice earned them the favor of House von Valancius. Seems that not all the officers have been presented to me yet. Confessor Adalbert, your ladyship, as a humble servant of the Emperor, I am entrusted with the high honor of being the ship's confessor, or, in other words, the highest spiritual authority on your vessel. I am here to oversee the purity of the crew's faith. I officiate in the officer's chapel and also look after my ship's reliquary. Tell me about the spinner's great sacrifice. The vessel was beset by famine and pestilence during a long warp jump. The flagship wandered uncharted paths in the Immaterium for 20 cycles straight. Servants of the archenemy used the despairing hearts of the crew to infiltrate the ship, and death followed. The hungry became the hunted, the famished became a feast. The exhausted crew was too weak and emaciated to resist the invaders, but then the spinners emerged from the depths. They stood alone against hundreds of foes, yet they did not falter. They did not sleep or rest as their blade-tip dance brought death. Though many spinners fell, the bloodspun web held strong until the flagship left the turmoil of the warp. What does my retinue think? I have heard, though only at a distance, the prayers the spinners offer up to him. I have seen how their deeds fill the people's hearts with confidence in the inevitable of his wrath. The Bloodspun Web's loyalty to the Emperor is without question, as is their willingness to lay down their lives in the fight against the arch enemy. Though Lady Theodora never granted the cult an audience or brought a spinner into her retinue, she respected the blood-spun web and approved of its mission. It is strange. Their shadowy forms are swathed in darkness, yet a radiant light burns within them like scarlet flame. I think it is a good sign. It is rare to see anyone filled with such light, even among servants of the faith. You will be my shadow. May as well take her in. We can then... Well, we can't actually get rid of the mercenary, unfortunately. He's always going to be here. I am your shadow, Domin CC von Valancius, an instrument of death placed in your hand by the Undying One. For so it was ordained, and so his tarot forespoke. I also come bearing an invitation from the Vizier of the Bloodspun Web. He wishes you to know that the doors to the Undying One's temple are open to you. Are you suggesting the Lord Captain should go down into the depths of her flagship to search for this temple? With all due respect, the lower decks are for servants and crew. They are not a fitting place for her ladyship. Who is the Vizier? He is the first among us. The Vizier has spun the web of faith for fivefold longer than I have lived. Blood of the flagship's blood, my mentor and teacher. Where is your temple located? I'm not permitted to say. If you wish to find the temple, you must walk the path of Saint Ariane, the matriarch spider. Hers was a thread that would become the blood-spun web. The path began deep within the flagship, in the tunnels, dark tunnels of the freight line. That is where yours must begin as well. This journey will bring closer to the thread of the web, closer to the Undying One, closer to understanding death. Perhaps one day I will grant you that favor. You have heard the whisper of the Undying One. He awaits you. He calls to you. Your time will come. Interesting. Your blade awaits direction, Domin Cici. We will speak again when the time is right. Interesting indeed. Interesting indeed. There was a secret temple in the bowels of my void ship. Not a surprise. The void ships were massive, massive things. I say were as if they were a thing of the past. They are massive things, as in the lore of Warhammer 40,000. So yes, there was many things that could go on in the decks that people didn't even know about. I mean, there were thousands upon thousands of crew members on board these ships. Void ship map. The rotating ship is a veritable city sailing through the void. Navigate these compartments using a map of the ship, which you can access from the main elevator on the bridge or from any compartment. Okay, so that's basically telling me how I then go down into the bowels of my ship and start moving things forward. But let's go and do that astropathic relay first. Is it dead? Ahead of the void ship, it is motionless. There is lifeless silence across its Fox frequencies. Its lights are out. Even those who have no warp sensitivity can feel the presence of death. It is here, lurking in the shadows. All of this makes reading the reports of the ship's astropaths, who claim to be hearing an incessant ghostly howl emanating from the station, all the more disturbing. Contact the station by Vox. The station's not responding. Deploy a scouting team. The enforcers offered their prayers and proceeded to enter the uncanny station. What they saw inside was monstrous. Astropaths upon their thrones, not quite here, but not quite now, smudged, as it were, across time. Servants reliving their horrible deaths again and again, only to be reborn out of the ashes and blood into more agony a moment later. The warp manifested itself here, twisting the very nature of existence. The main hall was covered in a crust of psychic ice. A green-robed, blind old man sat motionless upon a tall throne. He was quite literally embedded in the ice, yet he was still alive and screaming. Then Zachary Weiss to the station with a squad of bodyguards. Choirmaster Weiss boarded the station in person and proceeded to the choir's hall. He stood silently for hours in front of a man frozen in ice and held a telepathic conversation with him. Then Master Weiss offered a prayer to the God Emperor, and the unfortunate man passed away. Upon returning to the ship, Weiss reverently presented the Lord Captain with a grim trophy. He laid Choirmaster's amulet, taken from his frozen body after his death. Oh, interesting. The psychic shriek carrying across the materium has been silenced, but this has brought the crew no relief. A chilling realization came to the astropaths when they discovered that the cry was making a different sound, one even more terrifying and surreal. It was the melody of a cataclysm born from a warp storm of titanic power. so intense that the entire expanse must be able to hear it. It muffles astropathic messages and crawls into Psyker's minds, evoking everywhere the same image, a dark, gaping, beastly mouth cleaving the universe in two. Now that the mad choir master has finally stopped screaming, the song of the Immaterium has reached the rogue trader's void ship too. Hey, White, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. I'm going to burn everything. Void torpedoes shatter the fragile station. One can only hope that the unfortunate souls captured by the warp have perished along with their home. Okay, let's come down and see the unidentified void ship, as I know that's going to be nothing big. It's pandemonium outside the bridge gate. One of the officers seems to be demanding an audience with you in person. I think I hear Master Wissarian's voice. In any case, I wanted to warn you in advance. Okay. Lots of disturbances. A rogue trader can hardly pilot their ship around the void these days. Right, alright. So I'm assuming Wissarian is demanding something of me. See what that is. It's not the conduct of an officer. These are the antics of a highborn brat out on a lark. Explain yourself, Lieutenant. The young woman standing before Abelard strives with all her might not to quail under the onslaught of her superior's anger. She falters, but then manages to look him in the eye and say, I apologize, sir, but I might speak to the Lord Captain. Very well, Lieutenant, you may address the Lord Captain, not least because I see you have already seen fit to disturb her. Your unauthorized appearance on the bridge and display of belligerence towards a higher-ranking officer will be logged on your personal file without delay. Lord Captain, Lieutenant Avrilla Vent, requesting permission to speak on a matter of extreme importance and urgency. You may speak, but I want to hear a report, not a shouting match. I am sorry, Lord Captain. I thought that drastic times called for a drastic measure. This matter cannot wait. Any minute now, an assault unit will be dispatched to the lower decks on orders to crush the workers' strike by any means necessary, but I'm convinced that this step is unwarranted, and that the crisis itself was provoked by the actions of one of the senior officers. Lord Captain, I urge you to investigate the actions of Seneschal Wissarian, and to intervene in what's happening on the lower decks, because very soon we will have a mutiny or a massacre on our hands. How did all of this start? The situation could boil over at any minute, so I'll give you the condensed version. It all began when the enforcers found a cultist amulet on the body of someone who'd been killed in a drunken brawl. We reported it up the chain immediately, arranged for a cleansing rite to be performed, and opened an investigation. No heretics have been found alive, but the search has brought tensions between enforcers and workers to a head. When does my seneschal come into this? I shall explain. I beg you to hurry, time is running out. I will not hurry, since my competence is under scrutiny. I shall speak for as long as I see fit. There is an established order to the way things are done on this ship, and one of the pillars of that system is that the rogue trader's attention is not distracted by trivial matters. It is the Seneschal's role to ensure that. I have always handled internal problems myself, so, of course, when I received information about cultists hiding on the lower decks, I took the matter in hand. So long as I live, not one of the vermin who murdered Theodora von Valancius will find refuge on her ship. You are far too heavy-handed, Seneschal Wissarian. Arrests, interrogations, mass punishments for entire sectors. It has driven the people to the brink. Now there is a strike on the lower decks in Depot 4, to be precise. 3 worker clans are involved, but many more are passively supporting them. The situation could degenerate into an all-out insurrection. When I reported my concerns, the only response I received was an order to dispatch an assault unit and crush the strike with maximum force. Master-at-Arms, what would you like to say? Lord Captain, unlike Lieutenant Vent, I respect the chain of command and realize that it is not within my right to challenge my superiors. bows her head in Abelard's direction. However, a moment later, a serpentine smile appears on her lips. That being said, while I entirely share Master Bessarian's opinion on what fate Depot 4 deserves, I must note that this insubordination is a direct consequence of practices that he himself has introduced. Mistress Sauerbeck, I see you have decided to follow the Lieutenant's example after all. Such behavior does you no credit. Sauerbeck, explain yourself. The ship's regulations state that the Master at Arms is responsible for resolving all matters related to the ship's enforcers. And yet it is no secret that the Seneschal has a tendency to show partiality. Those enforcers and officers whom he has deemed particularly promising are at times given permission to approach him for tutelage. I cannot deny Master Bessarian's experience and insight. The Seneschal has a record of fostering students who have indeed achieved much and demonstrated impeccable performance. However, extending such patronage over the head of their immediate superior encourages disregard for the hierarchy among your ladyship's servants. Today, an enforcer goes to the Seneschal to report an order from the Master at Arms that they happen to disagree with. Tomorrow, they will go to the Lord Captain to object to the Seneschal's order, and notice a pattern in these actions. Would you say that the Lord Seneschal has singled you out? I swear that Seneschal Wasarian has never granted me any privileges, never once advocated for me, or facilitated my promotions, although he is a man who convinced me to become an officer in the first place. He has offered me extensive guidance in my service, for which I am grateful to him. And while not all my fellows receive such attention, I know of at least a dozen fine officers whom the Seneschal keeps in his sights to ensure that they continue to strive. To prepare new generations of the dynasty's servants, to instruct them, and to separate those with potential from those who have exhausted it, that is my duty as Seneschal. This ship has bays worth of pilots, enforcers, officers, technicians, and stewards, whom I have raised personally. By the throne, every third person standing on this bridge right now was my student at one point. Abelard, do you wish to respond? Mistress Sauerback, can you recall an occasion where I would encourage an officer to disobey their superior, or one where I would overrule their order, or show favoritism to those who merited none? None, Seneschal, for there have been no such cases in the entire time I have served aboard this ship. If anyone were to claim otherwise, I would have them pay for insulting the honor with blood. Your conduct in this regard have always been spotless. Nevertheless, given your eminent position, a simple show of attention on your part is enough to erode the propriety of junior officers, inflate their sense of self-importance, and undermine discipline. That you distinguish some of them and know them by name is tantamount to walking around the officer's deck handing out gifts to officers who have caught your eye. It fills those you set apart with ambition and audacity, makes them stand out among the rest. Enforcers are meant to be faceless servants, fighters ready to die, their fate entrusted to the commander and no one else. That is the sole foundation of the order. I see. Evidently my officers are anything but a shining example of unity and adherence today. I have only myself to blame, I suppose. What is Depot 4? In one of the poorest sectors on the lower decks, it is home to clans of general laborers. They are not as valuable to the ship as the families who have served its specialized systems for generations. They are an easily replaceable source, and one which is now, more besides, giving succor to cultists and minions of the arch enemy. Depot 4 is poor and troubled, but at worst that means drunken fights and illegal rotgut brewing. We have handled the workers of Depot 4 in the past. We would have done so again if the crackdown on Depot 4 hadn't been so harsh. And another important point to bear in mind, the problem is not limited to this sector. It's located on one of the most populated lower decks, and everything that happens there has a knock-on effect on all the neighboring sectors. Abelard, what do you say to all this? I see no need to add anything. I acted within the remit of my authority, guided exclusively by the best interests of your protectorate and your personal safety. Wish to confirm the rectitude of my actions for yourself? I have no objections. Sure, let's go down to the lower decks. An enterprise bordering on the sophomoric, but please yourself, Lord Captain. However, I categorically insist that I escort you. I regret that the enforcers were unable to handle the situation, which then led to you and your Seneschal's involvement. I consider it my duty to go to Depot 4 myself and see to the expedient resolution of this incident. Okay, so, yep, we're going to take all of us. Fantastic. And, oh no, wait. We're going to get rid of Bahadur and take Cass. Bahadur was, in fact, acting as a blade dancer So actually having him replaced by the official companion Blade Dancer is just fitting, really. Let's have a quick look at her, shall we? So let's, the summary. So yes, she is in fact a Puritan. She's a level 3 dogmatic character, which is quite surprising. I'm currently a level 1 Iconoclast, and that's what we're going to be going for. Her features, she has Blade Dance and Death Waltz. Against a target enemy without spending a charge, immediately make an immediate attack against that enemy. That's a heroic act. And then Death Waltz in a non-heroic act variety. And for talents, every time an enemy is killed by the Blade Dancer's allies, the number of MP on the Blade Dancer's next turn is increased by +2. Nice. So every time an ally kills a character, she gets +2 MP. That's very nice. And of course, she is a Blade Dancer. She is Voidborn. She has Fortune. Character can reroll any failed attack, dodge, parry, characteristic, or skill test with a 20% chance of success. She is a Death Cult Assassin. The Death Cult Assassin's next single target melee attack splashes button a 5-cell cone behind the target. That's what we looked at in the fight. 3 levels of dogmatic. And flagship post abilities, she has exact prediction. She's pretty good at Metakai, but looks a bit demolition and Carouse. So she has high agility. That's not a surprise because that does increase her dodge, which is going to be her major skill. And then of course helps her hit with melee attacks. Her strength is very, very low, which is interesting. For a melee character, reputation that's my reputation, and then her biography. Let's go to archetypes. Let's look at the ranks we can go and get. And so let's see what we've got. Anytime an ability or talent is used, hang on, let's come this way. Use the fellowship bonus. A voidship character can instead use the intelligence bonus if it is higher. Is it going to be higher? I mean, I don't think I'm going to be overly plugging either of them, to be honest. But maybe we could. Always a potential bloody mess. Anytime a Voidborn character scores a critical hit, there's a 10% chance to double the damage. Very much. Using a non-damaging ability on an ally grants that ally the ability to reroll on a failed attack, dodge, parry, skill. Using a non-damage ability on an enemy grants them a 20% chance to fail if successful. Has more than 50% wounds. All chances of all creatures, including enemies in a 3-star radius, are increased by +10%. Has less than 50% chance. Reduced by 10%. 10% chance to survive. Yeah, that could be really good. Crimson Tide. A creature with Blood Blessed or Bloodstained effects gains +1 stack of this effect whenever raining blood is inflicted again, or whenever it starts its turn on a blood-covered cell. Death Cult Assassin's allies deal 2+ agility percentage bonus more damage to enemies if both the ally and their target stand on the blood-covered cells. Yeah, potentially. Each time the Death Cult Assassin parries or dodges an attack, all enemies with the Bloodstained effect suffer +1 stack of this. Very nice. Creature with the Blood Blessed or Bloodstained effect gains +1 stack of this effect whenever bleeding, burning, or toxing is inflicted on it. Yeah, maybe, I'm not quite sure. Creature with the Blood Blessed or Bloodstained effect gains +1 stack of this effect each time it suffers damage from bleeding, burning, or toxing. Yeah, those two will obviously marry up quite well. And we want characteristics. Will definitely be agility. And would have weapon skill. Now you think we'd have strength for damage. But like I said, yeah, we're very low on strength, which is a little bit weird, I think, for the Blade Dancer. Unless we get to change that over later on. No melee superiority bonus, dual weapon combat, and then dual weapon specialist, 100%. We will get dueling master. It's not going to be our big thing. It will not die, and nimble are definitely things as well. We will definitely get some weapon proficiencies, but I'm not quite sure which ones at this stage. We may not actually even end up going dual weapon. We may end up going two-handed weapon, to be honest. So that could always end up happening. But let's come back up here and let's have a look at... It's a critical hit, 10% chance of more damage. Let's... Let's go for this one. Every time we parry or dodge. And then we'll go and put some skill points into... Let's say weapon skill. In fact, no, I'm going to say strength. I really feel like we need to get our strength up. Unless I'm being misled. Which I might just be. Okay, choose an ability. Blade Dancer immediately returns to the cell where they started their turn. This movement does not protect. If Blade Dancer used death from above this turn, this movement repeats all of its uses of this ability in reverse. I do quite like that. Until the end of combat, attacks made by the Blade Dancer against enemies who have already attacked that ally gain 15% critical hit chance and 20% critical damage. Immediately ends their turn. Until the beginning of the Blade Dancer's next turn, they can dodge area attacks without moving, are immune to all types of forced movement, gain 20% parry against attacks from that side, can now parry attacks made against adjacent allies. Blade Dancer can even parry ranged attacks. But then my dodge is probably going to be higher than my parry, so I don't know. Attacks a single enemy vowing to dispatch their mark. The Blade Dancer's next attack against their selected enemy cannot be dodged or parried. If the attacker kills the target, the Blade Dancer regains 13 wounds and 1 AP. That's probably going to be really useful. Fix bleeding on all targets hit. That's a tough and resistant test with a -20 penalty will become immobilized for 1 turn. All enemies immobilized by captive audience count as full cover for the Blade Dancer and their allies when adjacent to those enemies. That is also really good. So I'm thinking Acrobatic Artistry to first, start with, and then Blood Oath second, and then Captive Audience. And then we shall go ahead and put up our... tough choice, tough choice. I mean, through natural things, our athletics and demolition are going to go up, but that's it. And I feel like we're probably not really... I mean, Abelard has a 50. Argenta has a 60. Yeah, we're not really anywhere near winning on anything, to be honest. I'm going to go for Demolition, because I think I will keep Argenta for the playthrough, but who knows? I might even go for Earlet, if I remember the name correctly. So who only knows?
One step at a time, amidst the madness.
We're in. Hey, it's Rosarian. Take that scum. Oh. Look what it is. This is all his fault. All of it. Well, he now smells. Reflexively wipes sweat from his brow in a startlingly human gesture, and a telling one, a rare moment where he allowed his age and wariness to show through his armor like veneer of self-assurance. The lower decks are a source of endless problems. Sometimes I dearly regret that we cannot replace all the locals with servitors. You hear? They were shouting your name. Of course they were. The organization of the daily routine life of the ship rests upon my shoulders. The mountain of challenges and problems from which I endeavor to insulate you, Lord Captain. The situation on the lower decks has been a cause for concern, and I have intervened personally on more than one occasion. That must be why they remember me. They do not know your face. To them, you are akin to a creature of legend. One who has stood on the steps of the Golden Throne, no less. Whereas I am a man whose name is attached to every order docking rations or lowering a bay's heating. Let's keep moving. Sarian, you smelly man. That's a good point. Is there any... What I do quite love... Can I not interact with this valve? No, I guess not. Like I said, what I do quite love is the fact that you can quite often grab...
I still do not see our purpose in coming here.
Goods from your own ship.
Relax,
and
old man. Going for a stroll on the lower decks every once in a while.
You can grab goods from your own lower decks and put them in your own hold, which is very weird. So you've moved them from your ship to your ship. Sounds of a heated discussion reverberate through the ship's bays. Lieutenant Avrilla Vent of the ship's enforcers is bearing the path of her superior, Master-at-Arms Jocasta Sauerbeck. who has arrived clad in armor. Judging by the expressions and tone, the standoff has dragged on for some time already and has now reached the boiling point. Lieutenant Vent, my patience is wearing thin. I have given you an order, now get out of my way. I cannot comply with that order, ma'am. This is my deck and my sector. So long as this area remains under the Lord Captain's special oversight, no action can be taken without my express permission. There are only 3 people who are authorized to make me stand down. The first officer, the rogue trader, and the Emperor himself. Do not all of my lessons fall on deaf ears? Abelard mutters in crabby approval. He does not clarify whether he means Vent, Sauerbeck looming over her, or both. Your ladyship. Noticing you, the 2 officers snap to attention and salute their subordinate, following suit a moment later. What's the situation? My people have locked down the bay where the strikers are, including their leaders. We have the situation under control as far as resources allow. Under control, Lieutenant. I came here to lead an investigation unit, and what do I see? The rabble is on the verge of mutiny. There is nothing to investigate. This simply calls for immediate repressions and firing squads. And you, Vent, are a step away from facing charges yourself. Right you are, Lord Captain. Allow me to wish you good luck. If anybody throws anything, I will simply open fire.
They all will see.
For Depot 4! Praise be to the resurrection! This is where I lose my whole ship. A dozen pairs of eyes stare apprehensively at you. People before you are typical inhabitants of the lower decks. You take in their simple clothing, crude weapons, and faces that display varying levels of mutation, from the barely discernible to the strange to the outright grotesque. A whisper passes through the crowd, and you detect a mixture of fear, astonishment, and joy in their reactions. Finally, 3 people break away from the crowd, an elderly woman and 2 men. These must be the leaders, and they bow clumsily before you. Lord Captain, you have come down to us. We were attacked on the way here. How do you explain that? Here's an explanation for you. The people have been pushed to their limit, and now they're lashing out. As if we don't know why these top deck units are being sent down here, like the one there that the lieutenant won't let pass. Our clans are all inside, and the bay that's been sealed off. But the lower decks are big, and I'm sure there are some people who've had just about enough. We're getting it from all sides. The soldiers have encircled the ones who've risen up. A death squad has just arrived. It's no wonder folks are lashing out. Their words seem sincere. Their body language and glances traded between them reveal that the news of the attack has shocked them. Striking, that's news to us, your ladyship. All we're doing is asking questions, saying what we think. Shut up, Rivet. Here's the deal, your ladyship. Your damned enforcers are all over us down here. They say they're looking for cultists. One wrong word and they're reaching for their batons. If they want to punish someone, they turn off the heating to whole bays for a week at a time. So we get sick and freeze. My clan, 2 little ones died from inflammation in their lungs, all because of those enforcers. Argenta does not like the sound of children dying. It's all true. Vent is the only enforcer officer who stood up for us. It's clear as day who had a mother from the lower decks and who grew up amidship and has no fellow feeling towards us. Your ladyship, we're no villains here. We're honest workers, your servants. We've plotted no disorder. We went on strike openly, and now we've got guns pointed at us. All we're doing is asking to be allowed to work in peace without being harassed. Who actually started a propos of nothing, you say? I was told one of you was found in possession of a cultist amulet. A cultist amulet? What's that? The gewgaw they found on the dead drunkard? If it was something evil or forbidden, we sure didn't know. The enforcers just said they were looking for heretics among us, and anyone obstructing their investigation would be punished. But how could there be heretics here? We know our own people. There have been no new faces around. Definitely not, and if there were, we'd be the first to report them. And as for this amulet, or whatever it is, they took it off a dead body. There are no cultists still breathing in our sector, that's for sure. But when that fight broke out, some enterprising folks looted the bodies. The boots they came back with Nobody's ever tread these decks in boots so fine. I can tell you that. Seems to me these cultists have better commanders than us. Oh yeah, these boots really were fine. And there was no harm in taking them, right? As for the amulet, it must have been pocketed by someone who didn't know any better. We don't need any amulets around here. We all worship the Emperor. And when we're working, we bow down before the machine spirits of the large and small transformers and the servo motor. The same way my grandfather was taught 100 years ago by a tech priest who came calling, "Believe us, your ladyship, we are people of faith." Naive children, weren't you taught from an early age about the dangers of the arch-enemy's creations? Weren't you warned that any unfamiliar object could be one of them? We were told, Holy Sister, but it was long ago. The last time we saw a confessor in our sector was just after I'd had my third little one. That is regrettable, but you cannot lay the burden of leading a righteous life on the shoulders of the Holy Fathers. Who will you blame when beasts crawl out of those amulets you stole from the heretics? The Holy Father who was not there, or the scavenger who brought evil down on himself and his neighbors? Abelard, do you have anything to add? I authorize the use of all necessary measures to locate Chaos worshippers hiding in this sector. The specific steps taken by the officers were not reported to me. Nevertheless, I am certain that their actions were justified. Cultists are no drunken stevedores. They are the enemy and a threat to the ship. Neutralizing them demands decisive action. The rabble understands only one language, Lord Captain, that of violence. As per regulations, should the laborers persist in their unwillingness to cooperate, the next step is limiting air supply and cutting off water, which is almost certain to restore order. The peasants can grumble all they want, but in the end, they are the source of their own misery. All they have to do is bow their heads and fall in line, and the need for punitive measures will disappear. If you look at this, the Exalted Lord Captain herself is asking us, Bildrats, what we want. Well, here's what. We want you to rein in your damned enforcers, to quit turning off the heat and stop battering everything that moves. No, that's not it. We want the enforcers gone from here, and we want to be armed. Give us arms and we'll govern ourselves, we'll defend ourselves if these cultists do show their face. I've been leader of my clan for 20 years now. Getting rid of the club-wielding thugs can only improve things around here. You've gone too far, old Nan. They'll never let the maggots on the lower decks live without the enforcers breathing down their necks. They probably even insist on enforcers on the upper decks too. As for weapons, what do we need them for? Before the first day's out, we'll have someone shooting their neighbor out of stupidity or drunkenness. We don't need that. If the enforcers stop hassling us, that'll be enough. In return, we'll find the scavengers who robbed the cultist's body, and we'll talk to them, one lower decker to another. If there are any more of those damned amulets around, we'll hand them over to the enforcers ourselves. You speak for yourself and your clan, and I'll speak for me and mine. I don't want empty gestures, I want real change. They'll promise us the world now, but as soon as the anointed one turns her back, these brutes will be on us even harder than before, all because we dared to speak out. The tall worker's eyes dart between the two arguing leaders. Every few seconds he opens his mouth as if planning to agree, but each time he falls silent, simply making a few vague noises of approval. Putting anarchy on the ship's the first step towards embracing chaos. Putting weapons into untrained hands would be even worse. What's more, the enforcers are needed to maintain oversight and order. Withdraw those demands, and we will consider the rest. Old Nan, listen. The Lord Captain herself has come down to us and is offering concessions, and I don't know a single person in the whole of Ep.04 who's ever stood next to the rogue trader, let alone talk to them. Back down. Now's no time for you to be a stubborn old crone. Listen to us, Old Nan. 3 clans of Ep.04 ought to act as one. We've made up our minds. It's your turn to decide. Don't ask them to disband the enforcers or give us weapons. We don't need any of that. You two are ganging up on me. Is that it? So brave you are against an old woman. But I'll shut up. I will. Indeed, I won't go against 2 clan leaders on my own. You want to make peace with the enforcers? Make your peace. That's great. Just fantastic, Lord Captain. We're all agreed. Thoughts, Abelard? The story about going scavenging for boots and accidentally picking up heretical amulet doesn't convince me. These people were moments away from rebelling and possibly becoming minions of the archenemy. We must not give them what they want, even if they did acquire something innocently, purely out of their own stupidity. That does not mean they are not tainted with corruption. Ooh. Give the rabble 8 groks and they will take an agri-world, Lord Captain. They only understand brute force and will interpret any concession as a sign of weakness. Giving them weapons and recalling the enforcers would be folly. But it would only be a matter of time before we had a full-scale mutiny on our hands. You have failed to convince me. I beg you, have mercy. Curse you. If the signal is first to raise her weapon, yes, Lord Captain. If you want to mow down everyone in Depot 4, you can start with me. Vent, stop. This is treason. Sorry, I've let everyone down. Not clear who her words refer to, Abelard, her comrades, or the striking workers who are now doomed to die. Vent reaches forward and grabs the barrel of the weapon aimed at the crowd.
Oh, what an amusing attempt at defiance! The Emperor is with us!
Alright then, so the battle order goes Argenta, then me. So what I'm going to do now, there are 14. I assume it's just the full group of rabble in front of me. We're going to put Argenta at the front, and then I need to be at the front as well. I think I'm good where I am. And we'll keep it at that. I assume they've not really got any... Oh, Stagger has. Wow. He's got a bit of health to him. Rivet has not.
Faith without deeds is worthless. I'll do it. Strike with a prayer.
Shoot, shoot, shoot. Oh, we missed the front
Doubt
one.
is for the weak.
Got the second. Oh, we've got... Oh no, we can do well-maintained las gun. Hang on, who is... Lower deck rabble, that's you at the back, and then lower deck rabble, that's you in the corner. That should be fine.
Schemes!
Let us...
Let's see.
Let's run and gun.
A genius at work.
Okay, nice. We're slowly mowing them down.
Look out. Stop it!
Weapon at the ready.
Oh.
To the heretics.
Oh, nice shooting. What a hit! That guard is on his ass.
Minor setback.
Yes, we are in this beautifully toxic mess, basically. Yeah, most people have in fact been taken out, to be honest. Who have we got? We are down to 5 people. Oh, we've got 2 back here. For us to come there and say charge that one, we can get that done. And then we can take out both of them.
Took care of this one.
And then we
We'll
can
rule the stars themselves.
go for a full second attack.
A tactically sound approach.
Yep, a little bit of extra damage from poison.
Reduced to dust. It will be done. I took care of this one.
And then if we change weapon, we can attempt to take him out.
Stay vigilant.
Done. Talk to the Seneschal in calmer surroundings. That's that rabbled out with. Knife. Always add to cargo inventory. Flak armor. No, so that won't be. And then Grenade. That's just that flak chest plate, but yes, flak armor will definitely take. So the lower deck rabble is in fact better armored than I am. How crazy is that? Let's increase my armor to 35%. Because that didn't come off, like, we didn't lose any guard enforcers, I'm sure of it. Oh, well, maybe Vent, she kind of committed suicide. But we didn't lose any of the actual enforcers that were with us, so to say. That can always go to cargo zone now. And the Civitas pattern auto gun. Let's not worry about that either. And then so, I mean, I assume you've got, yes, light armor. You're in heavy, although it does give you an armor deflection, so we'll keep that as is. A spinner's mask. The wearer has 10 or more stacks of blood blessed. They gain +1 resolved. Well, we may as well. I don't know why that's not on you. That may as well stay on your face. What have we got? You've probably got, oh no, mesh chest plate. That can be replaced by flak armor. The other guys will all be wearing light armor. That can go to cargo. Those can now go to cargo. Mesh chest plate can go to cargo. The shock baton can... Yeah, let's just send him to cargo. That's fine. Kobe pattern lasgun. That can go to cargo probably. The grenades can stick around. We'll keep the shotguns for a second. The axe can... Has she got... Yeah, she's got... No, just a one-handed. Interesting. Let us... We can have that grenade. Have that grenade. We can have that grenade. And that grenade. Let us... Add that to cargo. Add to cargo. Got anything else that's worth putting on? Don't think so. Oh, wait, this necklace. We have the horrors of the warp effect. And I think that'll be it. There you go. Type in ascending order. That'll make things a little bit easier. That's 5% to hit chance and critical hit chance. You lose the +3 to logic, but I'm sure we'll find somebody for those. How is your logic? Only on a 30. Yeah, so unfortunately not going to be winning even with that. Always add cargo. That can go. Get rid of the las pistols. Silent verdict. And this was the gift that was given to me. It is two-handed. It is a blade sword. It is a death cult weapon. Go ahead and equip that. Oh, wow. And it is literally dripping with blood. You look at that. With just a medkit on her hip. You know, that's what you expect to see on the waistline of a death cultist. Okay, then. Let's
lies beyond?
Let's boogie on out of here. The lower deck rabble have been taught their lesson. So unexpectedly, Abadad imperiously dismisses the unit to stand at a distance and addresses your other companion, saying, I have an urgent matter to discuss with the Lord Captain. Please give us a moment. Well, are you pleased with your investigation, Lord Captain? You made a harsh but necessary decision, but before that, you danced to the tune of a panicking junior officer, you put your life at unnecessary risk in the midst of a potential uprising, and your actions triggered everything that followed. If you hadn't given Lieutenant Vent false hope and then snatched it away, she wouldn't have snapped. You had no business going anywhere near the lower decks. Is that how you see your future at the helm of the Von Valancius Protectorate? Let's talk about your role in this instead. I would have handled the situation myself had you not decided to intervene. Remember Lord Captain? Theodora? Do you think she ever set one slippery foot on the lower decks? No, she did not. Such matters are left to myself and the junior officers while she dedicated herself to her grand designs for the Protectorate, as any true strategist and rogue trader ought. Maybe if Theodora had spent more time on trifling matters, she wouldn't have wound up dead. I commend your decisiveness, but I am uncomfortable with introducing new protocols in the midst of a crisis. And I lost my temper, Lord Captain, and I believe I ought to explain myself. The prosperity of the Von Valancius Protectorate is not just an empty phrase to me. I left the Imperial Navy for a chance to see it flourish. I was the most momentous decision of my life. I did it because I saw in Lord Captain Theodora's deeds the sign of true greatness. Rogue traders do not simply forge new routes and capture worlds, they create order out of anarchy. That creative impulse was entirely lacking during my time in the military. So I left behind everything I had known, everything my family had known. I come from a long line of officers, and I embarked upon this incredibly reckless venture. Lord Captain Theodora entrusted me with all the concerns she had no time for. She would go off on her flagship for long periods to distant frontiers, on scouting voyages, and the advancement of the entire Protectorate rested on my shoulders. And then suddenly everything that had been built over the years and years began to quake, rattling like a flimsy hangar on a seismically active world. One of the senior officers betrayed us all. The rogue trader was killed, and who knows what is happening on the planets. I tell you this honestly, without fear of appearing weak. All this has come as a grievous blow to me. I am not panicking or grieving because I cannot allow myself to panic or grieve. I am duty bound to aid the new rogue trader, to aid you, to find your footing as quickly as possible. And to do that, I must insulate you from the problems that, in the past, have been dealt with by tried and tested procedures set out in the ship's regulations. Procedures that were established long ago and have functioned smoothly for decades could not suddenly be deemed excess to requirements. Theodora trusted in established procedures and she died. I won't make the same mistake. If you want to keep building the future of the Von Valancius Protectorate with me, stop living in the past. I understand, but you need to learn how to respect me as your Lord Captain and Rogue Trader. Accept it and start living in the new world. A world where Theodora is gone and where you and I have new decisions to make. Me and you are the only person who has comprehensive knowledge of how things are run on this ship. I think in the future I will follow your recommendations. The ship's otherwise smooth operation. Hammering in recent days, but very little competence. I have no plans to rely on your judgment or your tried and tested procedures in the future. She had these and she died. Yes, Lord Captain, you resolve as Admiral and demonstrate strong leadership. I must remember this moment, should my old habits ever begin to creep back in. Now, please let us leave the lower decks. If the rogue trader desires to stretch her legs, there are far more suitable places.
Curiosity sings in my veins.
And back up to the Void Ship Bridge we go. And maybe we can actually get on with something. Who knows? Because, yeah, there's a lot of interruptions right now. Because our flagship, aka our Void Ship, is, got a few problems. It's mildly falling apart at the seams, to be quite honest. And with that, we need to bring it all back together. I would quite like the option of just leaving our beautiful dancers of the spinning web down there and telling them to deal with it. We were coming to this unidentified void ship, I believe. What we have here, Lord Captain, is it is not very noticeable, but there's a void ship sitting in the local asteroid field. The shore is quiet, like it's huddled up in there on purpose. Not like I am surprised, the thing is more scrap heap than ship at this point. Somebody sure went to town on it. We are registering critical damage to the hull and depressurization of several compartments. Oh, there is an incoming transmission now, too. Hear us. Do not require assistance. Pete, do not require assistance. Copy. Keep following. They'll pass us by, but won't they? Emperor protects. Lord Captain, I am told our augurs cannot determine the allegiance of the vessel. To be brief, There is an unidentified and badly damaged vessel within an asteroid field near the Raikadi Philia colony that is refusing help, which, not to put too fine a point on it, has not yet been offered to them. Yes, Lord Captain, the connection is established. Unknown vessel, we are receiving you. Identify yourselves. I repeat, identify yourselves. Do not tell him. We are done for. This is Thunderfang. We are a merchant vessel. Do you copy? We are a private merchant vessel. A merchant vessel, of course they are. Damn my stupid head. Where did I hear this name before? Thunderfang. Damage report on the unknown vessel. Telemetry shows multiple hull breaches, most likely caused by the guns of a combat ship. Several compartments are leaking air. The bridge has been almost completely obliterated. 2 of the engines are critically damaged. Somebody gave them a thrashing so solid they barely managed to limp away. Why can we not identify you? Why? I don't know. What if? Certainly not. Our vessel is badly damaged. Damage is preventing the correct identification. We assure you, something merchant vessel. Thunderfang does not require aid. What happened to you? I burst in a cacophony of sounds, words, and emotions. Someone chuckles bitterly, another swears with some foul expletives, and yet another hisses, furiously demanding that the others shut up. You managed to make out little from all this noise. We were just flying, minding our own business, straight out of the blue, and opened fire. Miracle we could get away. Emperor protected. And then more fire. Who? Void only knows. Roasted our tail. Bombed everything. Our folks, are left without help. We never got to them. Happy now? What have you done? Idiot, it is too late now. Do you copy? We are from the Fellow of the Void. We did not come here to loot on different business, to help our own out of jail. Do not hurt Lise. Oh, please. We already had our Cronus cleaned. How about striking a deal? Our hold is full of plunder, I mean goods. In case you are unaware, Lord Captain, the Fellowship of the Void is a disorderly assembly of several dozen pirate factions in the Cronus Expanse. They consider themselves above regular heretics solely because they sometimes have vox conversations with those whom they are about to board. Were it up to me, I would make them eat a salvo from the mackerel cannons to shake the scum loose from the decks. They certainly deserve it. I would wait on destroying the vessel if I were you. Although the moral aspects of their livelihood do cause some awkward questions, the Fellowship of the Void remains a major supplier of goods to the local market. Perhaps you will find dealing with them acceptable, especially in a situation where performing a warp jump is impossible. Now, last time I had nothing whatsoever to do with the Fellowship of the Void. They are a mildly heretical people. They do deal with Xenos, but then I'm not going dogmatic this playthrough. So I think potentially dealing with them in some form of capacity, you know, I think as long as I don't delve into the realms of giving them prisoners, etc., and people to be made into slaves in unfortunate situations, I don't think there'd be too much of a thing. I'm going to commercially exchange with them this time. So, Fellowship of the Void, as you can see, we don't have any reputation with them now. We may as well go and grab the little bits we can. And so as you can see, their stuff isn't heretical. Was that? No, so it requires Iconoclast follower. So their stuff isn't, in essence, heretical in its dealings. Now, they will take certain things. They will take heretical trophies. Now, I could, but then let's have a quick look. I could, for instance, get up to level 1. That gets me some force grenades, Warworld Origin fencing body glove. I don't think, I don't know if I've got anybody that can grab that. The always ranged attack hits an enemy. The wearer gains plus 5% bonus critical hit chance for the next ranged attack against the same enemy. Does not stack. When the wearer kills an enemy in a 1 cell radius with a shot, they gain +1 resolve until the end of combat. So powder autogun, not much. Chainsword, not bad, not bad. And a power maul, not really up to much. Oh, and as well, which of these I can get? All of them, but the body glove, the noise suppression helmet, and the power maul. Now, looking at it, I'm not too fussed by any of it, so I'm not going to spend any of my loot just yet. I mean, the cape would be okay on my new Blade Dancer. But like I said, I'm not too fussed by any of it at this point. So I'm going to keep my loot, because I don't think the Fellowship of the Void are who I'm going to be pushing my reputation with. But if we do go to my inventory, we go to Abelard. This is a lovely 5% increase, and it also looks a hell of a lot better. So we'll stick him in that for now. Let's go newest to oldest. We also got a cloak. Whereas range attacks decrease their target's dodge by -5%, does not stack. That could go quite nicely on you. We also have a flamer. You can definitely have that instead of the shotgun. And we can get some flame attacks on the go. Yes, there is that. Now the question is, do I go to the prison world first, or do I go to Rykad Minoris? Rykad Minoris has a lot of stuff to be done. The prison world is a lot smaller. If we go to Rykad Minoris, we can potentially get there before the cultists do too much more damage. We go to the prison ship, there's a chance we can save the son or the nephew, I'm not entirely sure which one, of a Winter Scale. Now, I don't know if that's going to particularly do much. I don't particularly notice that I did anything in my last playthrough. He kind of just, I don't know. I don't remember getting any form of props or thanks for saving his son. So, you know, I think we're going to do it in the opposite order this time. I think we're going to go to Rykad Minoris first and see what the difference is by coming here first before the prison ships. Now, on the other hand as well, yeah, it could, I don't know. This world is a little bit more intense and a little bit more involved. So therefore, always going for a little bit more difficult. Well, I'm also hoping by coming here earlier, maybe it's not going to be as difficult. We'll find out. But, yeah. Yeah, coming to these guys first. Oh, I'm deep inside a book. Oh, we've got a lovely plant on my desk. As the ship makes its way through the star system, a strange fatigue falls over you. Your eyelids grow heavy, and the quill you've been using to draw up yet another order falls from your hand. Oh, what is going on? Oh, hello. You raise your head with a start. Someone else is here in your study. You stand up and stare at the dozens upon dozens of corpses surrounding you. Among their number, you recognize the disfigured and bloodied faces of those who died on the ship's bridge and those you met in your previous life. How is this possible? Where are the enforcers posted to stand guard? It matters not, you are alone against a horde of heretics risen from the darkness to take your life. As if of its own accord, the shard lying on the edge of the desk, the sole remnant of Conrad Voitvier's weapon, slips into your hand. The metal is searing cold. The dead sway from side to side, closing in around you in a nightmarishly slow advance. Interesting. Step back or else. Stop, I do not wish for any of you to die. I mean, the second one is the only one I really like, but it also feels mildly heretical. But I'm going to do it anyway. All you hear in response is unintelligible voices, whispers, moans, and derisive laughter. Anger ignites in your chest, and you clutch the shard, which ravenously bites into your palm with its sharp edges. An unbearable bright light floods everything around, and you find yourself surrounded by groveling minions, their bodies shivering in your mere presence. Your hands no longer hold a pitiful shard, but a majestic and intricate weapon. A skillfully crafted sword with strange, unearthing proportions. A curved design and an unusual hilt adorned with the image of a closed eye. I don't like it. The eye opens wide, revealing a gaze so ancient and dark that it steals your breath. You have felt this gaze before, there on the bridge, and the voice that appears in your mind only confirms your guess. The tapestry is woven, the path is chosen, accept your fate, champion. Throw the demon blade away, I will not be heretical. Your body refuses to obey your mind. The handle feels as if it has become one with your hands, and the gaze of the demonic eye sets your very soul ablaze. Resisting your fate is futile. You scream as you feel your soul burn away to ash. You awaken from the vision kneeling next to your desk, clothes drenched in sweat, and with a sour taste on your tongue. Your head is ringing, and you struggle to recall those faces and the image of the sword in your hand. Only the deep cut on your palm and the bloody shard lying on the floor remind you of what just transpired. You would rather die than touch that thing again, so you reach a shaking hand for your Vox and call for a servitor. Now, you just have to wait for the mindless automaton to arrive. Pick up the cursed artifact and head for the nearest airlock to be claimed by the void. Item lost, blade shard. There you go, that was a new thing in this DLC, I'm sure of it. And that would have allowed us, I'm sure, to get a very, very lovely heretical weapon. But that is not how we are going on this playthrough. So, that has been thrown away. We are going to keep moving on. I will not become heretical. Although, hey, that story sounded like it could have been a lot of fun. That's all I'm saying. And we are going to continue our trip through the Cronus Expanse. And we're right next to the planet Rykad Majoris. And so hopefully we can make it without any more interruptions. Yes, we have made it. Down to the starport we go with all of our characters. Our previous rogue trader Bahada and our mercenary is, of course, not going to be used anymore. Maximum hit chance is always 95%. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what state this place is in. Last time when I did this last, and it was in a pretty bad way. Oh, it looks like it's in a pretty bad way again. Yeah, it looks pretty much the same, if I'm perfectly honest. The starport greets you with the din of ordnance, and the smell of explosives tickles your nostrils. It is difficult to tell through the smoke who is firing at whom. Halt, weapons on the ground or I'm firing. A man in torn and dirty uniform hobbles towards you from behind the chunks of rockcrete and crumbled plasteel. His shred helmet is adorned with a crooked label that reads Sergeant Malgar. Alright, so our skies are in lockdown. The rebels are shooting down anything that flies, and you lot just happen to land in our rear without a scratch to show for it. On a shuttle like that. Where did you get it? Stolen from the palace, isn't it? Grab 'em, lads. We've got ourselves a rebel landing force. By the Holy Throne, what is this mess? They're in a rough spot, old man. Go easy on them. I am the rogue trader von Valentius. Give me a status report this instant. With a mixture of awe and terror, he snaps to attention, raises his freshly cut chin like an exemplary soldier, and barks. My mistake, ma'am. At once. The starport is under the control of the governor's wardens. Perimeter commander is Sergeant... A frag grenade explosion cuts off the rest of the sergeant's words. Shrapnel flies everywhere with a piercing screech. One of the soldiers falls to the ground, clutching the remains of his forearm that is now adorned with crimson tatters. Blood is pouring out of the stump, and the soldier's agony is short-lived. The sergeant curses and hastily says an army prayer for the dead. Pardon me, ma'am. Sergeant Lass Melga reporting. My unit is holding the starport on the governor's orders. How may I serve you? You know if a member of the Inquisition has come here? I don't know, ma'am. There definitely haven't been any visitors like that on my watch. You might have to inquire at headquarters, your ladyship. What is going on here? Unrest, ma'am. Armed rebellions in both the capital and the provinces. First the lower levels sparked, then it went up the spires. They hit the Vox hubs, the arsenals, the mag train stations. Then Felix tore off his mask, precisely because he knew about the trouble on Rykard Minoris. He knew that none of our allies would come to our aid. You may continue your report, peasant. My unit was here when it all went to the Roxes. The tech priests linked to satellites reported sightings of strange void ships in the system. They were orbiting the star until one of them set course for landing on Rykard Majoris. The governor took precautionary measures and ordered to increase security at the key facilities. Everyone knows that whenever something's not right, you better double the warden detail. The alarm was raised and we were sent to secure the starport. It's the only reason we were able to hold it. They're crushing us. You are late to arrive on Rykard Minoris. Oh, so I'm late anyway. Interesting. I'm good this evening. Thanks for asking, Defender. How are you? So, I might actually kind of boogie on out of here and go to the prison. It's been a whole turn since the last reinforcements came in. We're running low on ammo. Every other fighter is wounded. I don't know how bad it is in the streets, but they'll drive us out of here any minute. Pat him on the shoulder. I live to serve. I'm going to see the governor. From a report, ma'am, as long as the rebels keep shooting their damned anti-aircraft battery, there's absolutely no way to shuttle you to the governor. It would have to be on foot, and the streets are dangerous. I have no one to send with you as an escort. I assigned all available troops to accompany the esteemed tech priest to the governor. I will Vox cast orders to them to wait for you, and I inform headquarters they better send out a convoy to meet you halfway. Meanwhile, we will follow the governor's orders and hold the line here. You're a good soldier, but you've got a lot of blood on your hands, both yours and others. You know, the same hand that salutes now might falter in darkness. Rank and epaulets won't save you from the bitterness. Pardon me, my lady, but I can't get my head round these fancy words you're saying. I've seen plenty of blood, but trust me, I'll fight till my last drop. You're what? Tech priest. A very important person from the Adeptus Mechanicus arrived on the last shuttle before they locked down the sky. He kept on asking whether anyone by the name of Amarant or Amarnat or something like that had recently arrived. Barely answered any of our questions, though, said he was under no obligation to tell us anything. He demanded to talk to the governor personally, so I had to send a quarter of my troops with him to keep trouble at bay. Is the path ahead dangerous? Almost all of our roadblocks are gone. The whole place is in rebel hands. The city is almost lost because I was late to arrive. So no help will come. We are surrounded by rebels, and watch your step, ma'am. The streets are chock full of mines. His remarks about mines lodges itself in your memory. More than anything, you will need to watch the ground and not your surroundings. You'd rather risk a shot from a rebel or a jittery soldier than experience a few handfuls of lethal frag. Shrapnel resting on top of some 300 grams of explosive bisaline. You are a good soldier. I live to serve. Alright, well, I'm assuming I actually can't leave, if I'm perfectly honest. I'm assuming I am, in fact, now stuck here. Okay, and there seems to be... two ways to go. I can go either forward or backwards. There are a lot of dead guards in this direction. I do also see some shots coming from... Oh, I lied. But there is some goods in the back corner. This is, in fact, a dead end, which makes sense, because if they were surrounded, this would make it even harder for them. But no, they've got barriers on one side, and it's time...
harden our hearts.
Time to go and pick a fight.
Spectacle of your demise. I will level you.
That's lovely to hear. I'm glad to hear you're a good defender, and I'm glad I can help out. what I am here for. To spread some joy and good feelings. And of course, to share beautiful games with all of you out there. And in this case, well, to clearly murder some rebels. Bruiser Rebel. And what's so special about you? You've got a shock baton and some cocky claymore. Chances to hit any other target but this creature are reduced by 20%. Interesting. Mostly then we have a whole bunch of rebel gunners. We do have another Bruiser Rebel in the back corner. Oh, we have an agitator. He's probably going to be a bit of a pain. Voice of command. Okay. Alright. Well, okay, we have a rebel agitator going first. But other than that, we then have Kibala and Cece. Well, Kibala needs to go as far forward as possible. Because she needs to get amongst them, quite frankly. Denial of Nightmares. Immunity to the horrors of the warp effect. CC, ooh, a little bit loath to put you out in the open, but I don't want you all the way at the back either. Abelard, where can we get you? Let's stick you on the left. You're going to be a bit hard struck to get yourself forward as well. Although, hang on, these guys are going to come from this side. Hopefully he'll only maybe get these guys. I think I'll be okay there. I'm still technically in cover from the right-hand side. Idira, let's stick you in there. Argenta again. Not really great places I can put you. I'm going to stick Cass in there. And I'm going to pray that basically... Although I say that as well, Cass is... Argenta's right at the end, unfortunately. Cass is okay. Adira's okay. I mean, I should be fine. There's only one guy having to go before me. But everybody pretty much gets a go for Argenta. We'll just have to kill them all first.
Let's get to it.
Can I shoot maybe the guy next to him?
Out of my way.
What did he go and do?
My prescience has failed me.
Oh, he hit Idira and Abelard with that. Applies Raging Woe at a level equal to the corresponding amount of all rebels in the fight. Okay. What does Enraging Woe do? Okay. So who do we have? We have Kibala. Let us... It's time to get in and start killing things. So who do we potentially have to get rid of? Rebel Bruiser and Rebel Bruiser. That guy and that guy at the back. Okay. Not too worried about them, if I'm honest. Let's have you run around here. Oh, hang on. Let's have you run one further to the... No, it doesn't allow you to get any further forward. How about from here? No, not there either, unfortunately.
A dance of blades and shadows.
Let's jump in and start dancing. Then let's... That's where she came from. Maybe I should have gone from there. Then I could have jumped back into cover using acrobatic artistry. Obviously, that doesn't get us any extra attacks. Oh, right back to the beginning, in fact. Oh, love it. Oh, yes, retraces all moves. That's fantastic. So that'll do for that. Not like the be-all and end-all. Not fantastic things, but not bad. We can hide behind some good cover. Let's go and set up a position. Now, this Rebel Bruiser will probably be able to reach us. This one, not so much, but that's okay. Let's come to here. And... let's potentially start taking out a few of these ranged guys.
Huh. What if... Flames! Another one.
Let's put that on. Let's run and gun.
Let's see.
Let's get another well-aimed shot. And let's simply take out another rebel gunner.
A predictable downfall.
I mean, we may as well, basically. And brace for attacks.
Here we go.
He shouldn't reach me. Oh, he may have a
Let's
grenade,
make
but
it
I
quick.
don't think so.
Let's get to it.
She can definitely reach me. Oh,
Pain soothes my soul.
interesting. Interesting. Idira. We are most definitely... Let's not worry about analyzing enemies. There's no one too scary in this fight, to be honest. Let's scream at them.
Anything is.
Oh, well, that's a near death, isn't it? Let's put forewarning on Cece because she is in a little bit of a bad spot. And I suppose why not? We can always just simply go and analyze
Was that you?
the next bruiser. Now, Cass. People are not in line of sight. Oh no, it turns out I've actually put myself in a bit of a dead end here. Wasn't really a good idea, was it? Let's give Abelard
Step aside. The navigator is coming.
another go. Because we're simply going to get him to take out this rebel bruiser. And then... put brace, 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 because that does turn up on CC, which will help reduce damage.
It will be done.
And then we may as well go and get some more temporary hit points. Unfortunately, I don't think we can really do... oh, we can actually. We can get a little bit. Oh, no, wait. We automatically take no damage from allies' attacks. So why don't we kick this off?
Another scar to my collection.
It looks like I'm no longer behind cover, but I am actually behind this cover. So hopefully that's not a problem. We took out one more guy and we've half killed the rebel bruiser, so... oh, we completely annihilated our own cover, mind you.
Let's get to it.
Another rebel bruiser coming
Let's
in.
get to it.
Protect the fallen.
Ha, ha, ha.
I'm here, maggots.
DC has gone down. That's a lot of wild shooting. Quite a lot of actually killing their own people. May as well just charge forward. Okay, we can't actually see any of these guys, which is a little bit annoying. Yeah, completely hidden. Behind cover. We will just swap weapon to our flamer and decide to burn this guy. Let's try it.
Rejoice in battle.
Beautiful.
As the Emperor commands, I act.
Run and gun.
Faith without none can escape the Emperor's judgment.
He's dead. And get some momentum back. So we definitely have lost some after CC has gone down. And that'll be us. Who are we on? Abelard. Let's come to here and get a charge in.
My place is at the fore.
I think this person is dead, but still standing. Definitely seen that error before. Yes, very explosive cover. Luckily, none of it was explosive, but all the cover on this game kind of sounds very explosive when it gets destroyed.
At your beck and call.
Right, now I'm out in the open, so I'm hoping that means that everybody's going to shoot Abelard. Or do this. Because he is... that's his job, basically.
Time to slaughter someone.
Beautifully done with that burst fire.
Brace yourself, Abelard.
Oh, there's this guy still alive. I forgot about him. That guard is dead, and Idira also took a big hit. I'm going to come to here. We're gonna try it from this angle. We're gonna
Trust me.
turn this on. We're gonna basically splatter blood everywhere. We are now blood blessed. We can go up to 20 stacks, so that could be an extra 40% damage, which is beautiful, really. And unfortunately, that's all we've got with Kibala. Now, Idira. Apparently, this is unable to see anybody. Oh, we can't. No, we can't see them. Can I come left and see them? Apparently not. Oh, yeah, we can. We can. Well, let's come and
There is movement in the Empyrean. Farewell.
take out all three of those gunners, and then the last one we've got left is this one in the distance, who could be very detrimental to my health.
High momentum.
I can give someone a full go. Now, who would I want that to be, though? I don't know if Abelard would be able to reach them, if I'm perfectly honest. Keeble, I feel like, would have a better chance-ish if they were on level ground, most definitely. But I don't know about from the distance she's at. Let's give it a go.
Battlefields are always drowned in scarlet.
No, she actually doesn't seem to have that much movement at all. Is a bit of a shame. So that's unfortunately not going to work. Too far away, I'm going to guess for... Yep, too far in the distance.
If I may,
Let's try Argenta on a single shot. No, out of distance again. That's fair enough. Okay.
Show me what you've got.
And they're continuing to run away.
Mocking me.
That's just a pain. Charge forward. And then let's see if we can't end this. Okay, that's unfortunately all. Go stand on the same square as a standing up dead body. How far can we charge?
Follow my lead.
Keep moving forward. Now we do have a weapon. I don't know if a shotgun's going to reach. It's not. I should have moved
I will leave footprints of scarlet.
her forward last time, but I kind of messed up on the extra attack. You are simply going to hide somewhere. Come back here. Maybe that'll put you out of range so you don't die. Cass. We give an extra go to Argenta.
Cross my gaze.
And can she shoot somebody?
I'll do it.
Nope. It was only a 35% chance, so it's not a surprise. Also out of range.
Get to it.
Pain and duty go hand in hand.
Let's ramp up the extra firing. There you go. That last one was just a bit of a pain in the ass, really, wasn't they?
There will be no peace in my wake.
Rebel Gunner, Scrappy Lasgun. That can always go to cargo. What else have we got? Yep, all of that's obviously all marked for. Always add to cargo. Always add to cargo. Oh, we'll break that. Keep that sword for a second. Collect all. Who else is holding out on me here? Absolute rubbish. Let's run into the middle here.
One step at a time, amidst the madness.
Your seneschal is always there for you.
Let us
Let's patch you up.
Thanks. Your efforts are noted.
Didn't get rid of the injury, unfortunately. I'm sure there's a chance, if I don't remember. Fresh injury or old injury? No. Doesn't get rid of trauma. It's a shame. So, I think we're a little bit stuck with this, which is very unfortunate because it's very early to be stuck with such a crippling injury. in this, should we say, world. It's, yeah, let's see if I can jump back to my ship, because I kind of was going to choose to leave anyway a little bit. We can go and grab. Now, obviously, my weapon skill and my ballistic skills are lower than they should be because of my injury. But let us go and up my... Perception increases my chance to hit, but especially if I'm going with the ranged weapons I've got, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Let us go and put more skill on. Ooh. Let's go agility. Let's increase my dodge by 5%. And what have we got? Willpower resistance test using their fellowship. Probably quite a good thing. 50% bonus to dodge against the first attacks of opportunity every round. Any ally the commander deals an additional plus 15% damage to all enemies adjacent to the commander's allies. Single target melee ranged attacks and area attacks gain plus 20% to dodge reduction, parry reduction, and cover penetration. That's actually quite nice. Every time the Astra Militarum commander's ally using a heroic act, the commander gains plus 5 to all characteristics till the end of combat. We have our basic skills. We also have things like It Will Not Die, Grenadier. We do already have Nimble. Let's go and grab It Will Not Die for now. Only an extra 5 health, but obviously it just means that every level our health will slightly go up a bit better. As for you, weapon skill or toughness, really, I think. Agility is not a bad one either. That does help with melee attacks. Strength is not bad to be screaming at the moment either, but we're going to go... Ooh. Tough choice, tough choice, tough choice. Let's go toughness. And go... Sure, everybody can get... Your bonus was toughness, I think? Humanity's finest, yes. Everybody can get plus 5 to their toughness. My operative. Now, what have we got marked? Nothing, apparently. Okay. Creates an area that lasts until the start of the Psyker's next turn. All allies within the area gain 6% dodge. Their dodge chance cannot be less than 11%. These are new skills, I feel. Prize divination, prescience, or foreboding. Prescience. Target gains plus 6 intelligence, perception, fellowship, and willpower until the end of combat. I like that one a little bit more, I think. Once per round, the Psyker's next turn is moved up by 2 turns in the round initiative sequence. This ability may allow the Psyker to have 2 turns during 1 round. Whenever an ally suffers damage that would make them fall unconscious, the Psyker immediately gains an extra turn. During that turn, the Psyker can only use prophetic intervention. This power can only be used under these conditions. Restores the allies' wounds to the amount they had before the attack that triggered the intervention. However, the Psyker's psi rating was used by -1 till the end of combat. Oh, interesting. I do quite like that, though. I quite like precognition. Under the effect dodges or parries an attack, this ally has a weapon capable of reaching the attacker and has an attack that costs 1 or less AP. The ally immediately counterattacks with this weapon and the perfect timing effect fades. Yeah, not too worried about those two. What else have we got? Or on their next turn, they will spend all their movement points to move as close as possible towards the Psyker. They can act as normal, but all their MP must be spent on moving towards the Psyker. I don't know if I like that. At any time until the end of combat, the target and mind bond makes perception, intelligence, willpower, fellowship tests using either theirs or the Psyker's stat, whichever is higher at the moment. Okay, that's quite nice. If the test fails, the target immediately attacks its allies after the target suffers psychic shriek damage and their willpower is reduced by -12 until the end of combat. If the target succeeds, the target just suffers psychic shriek damage and their willpower is reduced by -12 until the end of combat. I like that. Everyone has 7-cell cone in front of the Psyker suffers psychic shriek damage and is forced to make a willpower resistant test. All targets that fail the test are stunned. I like that too. The target makes a willpower resistant test. If it succeeds, the target is merely blinded until the start of the Psyker's next turn. If it fails, to become blinded and suffer an additional -5 penalty to all characteristics, reduced by blindness, and must make a will resistance test at the end of each turn. The first success makes them just blinded, and the second success removes the blinded effect. That's quite nice, though. And, oh, we can add another type of power onto her. He currently has divination and telepathy, which are these two here. We could make her a pyromancer. We could add sanctic powers. A concentration of faith. Sanctic powers are used by pious psychers to protect allies and smite heretics. Or biomancy. Interesting. We'll have a look at these, but I'm not going to go and grab them or mark them just yet. And then, of course, we have our own operatives' abilities. Joint analysis. Precise attack. Intimidation. The operative's next non-area attack inflicts the intimidated effect on the first target hit by the attack and all enemies in a 5-star radius around the target. All damage dealt is reduced, and it is doubled for enemies with less than 9% armor. Perfect spot whilst in cover. Tactical knowledge. Right, so we are going to go for sensory deprivation. And so we are going to go and grab Law Imperium. Anybody else on pretty good stats for that? Yes, CC is doing pretty good for that. And Law of Xenos? No one really is kind of owning that skill at any point yet. Logic, tech use, awareness, they're not going to become my skills, neither is Medikai. So we're going to go for the Xenos. No, sorry, the Warp. All of the Warp. And we're going to go and complete all that. Right, and so the Soldier. Ballistic skill is pretty much what screams out to me, although it's pretty high. Perception. Let's get some more perception. Let's click next. And all layers in the area of effect. The devotee gains plus 12% to armor against attacks from demons and warp damage. The devotee's resolve is also permanently increased by 1. That's not bad. Melee flame and melt attacks against demons and psychers deal an additional plus 6 damage and gain 18% armor penetration. Such attacks against Xenos deal an additional plus 3. I'm kind of liking that. Stronger together. Characteristics find is perception. No. Not that. Ballistic skill? No. What does my finest come into? I would have thought agility. Yeah, it was agility, sorry. Humanity's finest. So I could get everyone to have plus 5 agility, so I'm actually going to go and do that, I think. This stage. Fleet. Officer. We have our beautiful attacking skills. 3% increase hit chance on the next attack. Dodge on the next dodge. Held in my gaze. It's a beautiful little weapon. Immolate the soul. Also very good. Creates a 3x3 zone. Every creature in it enters it or begins their turn in it suffers from 7 to 16 damage. It's also very nice as well. Mend reality. Maybe. Maybe. Notch of purpose. The enemy close to the square moves into it. That's a point of curiosity. Reveal the light. Ally gains plus 22 to their willpower and toughness until the end of combat. That's a very nice thing. Allies that have at least one melee weapon and one in one of their weapon sets immediately gains an extra turn, during which they gain the ability to use charge and only this ability. Maybe? Enemy targets must pass a willpower. Its second use returns the target to the position where it was during the first use. It basically winds back time. Target is immobilized. Touch of Anger. All enemies in 2-star radius around the target must pass a willpower resistant test. Those who fail, even if they are stunned or immobilized, immediately gain an extra turn where they attack their allies. Maybe. Waking Nightmare. That is another fantastic one. Warp Curse Unleashed. That was also a nice one. And Zone of Fear. So those are the ones that I really want. Glimpse of Fate. Maybe. Are we going to be using any of these? Get back in the fight. Maybe. Use an ally resolve by +3. That's not bad. Only target allies who have enemies adjacent to them. Against an adjacent enemy, targeting one with the lowest remaining wounds. Move, move, move. I did use. I am not too sure about this time. I'll keep it starred. Take aim. I think, however, we're going to go for... I'm thinking either Waking Nightmare, Reveal the Light, or Held in My Gaze. It's nice to have a single target attack, especially when I can't go and use my big attack. That does make her much more useful. Of course, increasing people's willpower and toughness by 22, or reducing the enemy's willpower and toughness by 22 is huge. When's the next time I'm going to be able to use an ability? Quite a way away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more levels. I'm just thinking of that lovely Chaos Space Marine we get to pick a fight with. And Waking Nightmare would be wonderful against him. But now let's go for Held in My Gaze for now. And then... turn... Let's find bonus to willpower until the end of combat. Whenever an ally gains an extra turn. Done. I do believe that's what we're going to... At the beginning of every turn and gains +1 additional wound for every navigator talent taken. That is very good, and it very much doubles up with... There is one... Right, we'll keep what we've got for now. Mastery of Time. No, do you know what? In fact, no, I lied. Let's go and get Strange Vitality. Get +6 wounds at the beginning of every turn. And then our Blade Dancer will go and grab... Very tempted by Agility. Let's go and grab that. And then we haven't had a chance really to look at her skills. Her Blade Dancer uses an ability that costs wounds. They gain half of the wounds spent as temporary wounds. The number of temporary wounds gained cannot be decreased by effects that reduce the costs of abilities. Death from above deals double damage to enemies that have less than 50% wounds. That's fantastic. If all the strikes made as part of Blade Dance are directed against the same target, the last strike deals double damage. Whenever the Blade Dancer kills an enemy with an attack of opportunity, the Blade Dancer immediately gains +1 charge of death from above. Once the Blade Dancer... multiple points, so I like these. Once the Blade Dancer has killed 4 enemies in total, the next ability requires spending wounds will cost no wounds and instead restore 13 wounds. Very nice as well. Dodges an attack made by an enemy who attacks them for the first time. The Blade Dancer was in charge of death from above. +5 Blade Dancer was damage against enemies armed with a melee weapon. That's good. Has 2 swords equipped. The Blade Dancer's weapon skill is increased by plus agility bonus. Whenever the Blade Dancer, potentially, we'll mark it, but potentially not. Whenever the Blade Dancer kills an enemy, the Blade Dancer's resolve is increased by +1 until the end of combat. That's actually very nice. Uses an ability that costs wounds. They gain +3 MP in the current turn. Blessed Scars. It's healed for the first time in a round. They're healed for an additional... I assume that kind of counts as self-healing. Can use both a Desperate Measure and a Heroic Act in the same combat. Melee area attack costs -1 AP less, but no less than 1. Parry is increased by toughness bonus, and attacker's melee critical hit chance bonus determined by the difference between the attacker's and the Blade Master's weapon skill characteristic is halved. Each attack made by the Blade Dancer increases the damage of all subsequent attacks they make this turn by +5%. The effect stacks up to 3 times. Area attacks, burst attacks, and any other attacks that deal multiple hits are considered single attacks. Blade Dancer's maximum wounds are increased by dodge divided by 10. Basically get about an extra 10 wounds, give or take, by the end of the game. That's roughly what you'd be looking at. Blade Dancer's Medicae is now determined by their weapon skill instead of intelligence. Okay. And they've got some bonuses to it anyway. Blade Dancer deals +5 plus Medicae percentage critical damage and can use medkits as if having Medicae skill advancement or the corresponding feature or talent. Any Blade Dancer attacks made with a sword deal agility bonus percentage damage. This bonus damage is doubled if using a two-handed sword. Enemies attacked by the Blade Dancer have their weapon skill, ballistic skill, and perception reduced by currently 14 until the start of the Blade Dancer's next turn. These penalties do not stack. So they've got some great stuff. As long as the Blade Dancer has less than 50% wounds, they gain 12% dodge, 3 MP. Blade Dancer goes to 8% dodge and 2 MP for every unconscious ally in combat. Acrobatic Archery, the dodge and cover efficiency are increased by a lot. Whenever Blade Dancer parries an attack, the number of attacks made by the next Blade Dancer is increased by +1. This effect stacks up to agility bonus times. After the Blade Dancer loses any number of wounds, their next attack deals +9% more damage. If that loss causes the Blade Dancer to suffer an injury or trauma, the bonus damage is increased to +18%. Okay, a lot of good skills. I quite like the... no, Death Warden, no. If I make attacks with a sword, we do a plus agi bonus percentage additional damage, which currently is +5. Because I'm using a two-handed weapon, that's +10. So I should be doing a +10 damage, which at this stage is fairly big. Right, let's gather everybody.
They will see. Oh yes, they all will see.
Yes, I assume I can't leave. I assume I am stuck on this planet. So I would really love a way to get rid of that injury of Cece at this point. We need to remember to keep going slowly because, of course, we do have interesting wounds. Now, my formation is very interesting right now. I don't want to be quite so stretched out, basically. So let's potentially go for this formation. Oh, you can, in fact, just move things around. That's interesting. So, in fact, we'll put Abelard and Kibala at the front. And then we'll kind of going to go for a bit of a winged formation kind of a thing. We'll kind of go for that. Okay. There you go. That's my new formation.
Curiosity sings
Law of the Imperium.
in my veins.
Do not touch a shipment of tithes of the Blessed Lord Captain Caligos Winterscale. Just a bunch of goods. That's jump down from there to there. Lucky Jasper. What's going on here? Folks, how about you don't come any closer and I don't shoot you? Lucky Jasper, what's going on? Gain true virtue, renounce false sight, all will be revealed. Okay. Thank you, my lady. You arrived in the nick of time. I don't know what those babbling creeps wanted with me, but it definitely wasn't anything good. Are you unharmed, soldier? All thanks to you, my lady. Those blind lunatics are all over the city right now. These rebels, damn them to the void, go around maiming anyone they get their hands on and scorching their eyes. Then they leave the poor sods driven mad by the pain to wander the streets babbling nonsense. The command doesn't want anyone to talk about it, but I've heard whispered that it's not just some nonsense, it's heresy, actual heresy. Because listening to it scrambles your brain. It made one patrolman freeze in his tracks while the blind mob got hold of him and carried him off from his post to who knows where. Who are you? Lucky Jasper, the governor's aide and personal Vox operator. I was dispatched to the starport on special orders. What exactly are you doing here on your own? Following Governor Medina's special instructions, namely... Oh right, it's a secret assignment, I can't talk about it. I am a rogue trader, persuasion, coercion... Why don't I simply order you to tell me everything? It is well within my rights. A rogue trader? Oh, so you must be from House von Valancius's ship. The starport's Augur surveillance station reported that it had detected your ship entering the system. Then you heaved to, sent a shuttle to another unidentified ship, a very strange one at that, and then that ship departed. Oh. But the Augur surveillance station's report are not to be disclosed to third parties, but you know that already, don't you? Well, alright, if you really are a rogue trader, I'll tell you everything. Why did they send you to the starport? I'm supposed to deliver updated Vox codes and, how should I put it, assess the situation. The planet is a real mess at the moment. The rebels have found their way into our Vox net and are now eavesdropping. This made proper communication impossible. The hallowed electrodynamic Cenobium had sent out a distress call before it went dark. And who even knows what's happening in the system? There's been a riot on Rykad Philia, the prison planetoid. Urak 5 station is silent, although the navigators there have always been a reclusive bunch. I was hoping I'd be lucky enough to run into a pilot or captain here who could give me an update, but that's hardly a possibility right now. The rebels are blasting anything that tries to land out of the sky with their damned cannon. There's something else you're hiding from me, isn't there? More classified secrets. It's nothing classified, just personal. There's another reason why I'm here. My betrothed is missing. Raquel Vicari, the esteemed Vane Winterscale's personal pilot. When the riot reports came from Rykad Philia, Lord Vane headed there personally. When this rebellion started down here, we lost communication. No one knows how they're doing up there. You know what I'm afraid of? That they'll come back and those real scumbags will shoot them out of the sky. I want to find a place that's high up, set up a Vox caster there and send them a transmission. Sky is closed off, but don't try to land. But I didn't make it in time. Those blind dogs chased after me, and as I was running, I tripped and broke the caster. I worry for her. She's an excellent pilot, but I still worry. That is why all members of a Voidship clan share the same employment. No matter how devoted a servant of the Imperium is to their duty, there is always the danger that family ties might disrupt regulations and order. I hope that no harm comes to her. The Emperor protects my lady. If someone you love is in trouble right now, may he protect them too. Who is Vane Winterscale? The esteemed and honorable scion of blessed rogue trader Carlos Winterscale, master of the Rykad system, at the behest of his illustrious father or grandfather or uncle, while his illustrious relative, Lord Vane, took up residence on Rykad Minoris. You know what I think? I find it curious that blessed Caligos didn't make him the ruler of our world. Lord Vane is his blood, but it's the governor who rules us. Then why do you think he sent him here? I think he's been exiled. I'm looking for an interrogator of the Inquisition who may have arrived on this planet. Have you heard anyone matching that description? I have, but I don't know where he is now. I'm sorry, I don't like discussing the affairs of the Inquisition. Tell me about Urak 5. There's not much anyone could tell you about it. That station belongs to the Navis Nobilate themselves. Emperor knows what they're up to up there, or who even lives there. They scorn ordinary folk. The only person they're willing to grace with an audience is the esteemed Vane Winterscale. That place is creepy. They say they order shuttles with servants from Rykad Minoris on a regular basis. I guess they're too important up there to change filters and clean compartments themselves, huh? Except I've never met anyone who has served there. It's like no one ever comes back. Your brothers and sisters lived and died for a great cause, serving a navigator house and therefore all of the Imperium. It is a high honor, one that few could bear. Do you think the governor can handle the rebellion? Well, obviously, I'm not some pessimist to say otherwise. I won't tell anyone. You really won't? Well then, if you ask me, things are pretty rotten. Those rebels are strange. We would have easily crowd a normal riot. We're not some commoners, we're Rycadians. The naval elite of House Winterscale, but those people are vicious. They know no fear. And their attacks, they're so precise, it's like they know what's going to happen ahead of time. The commander executed 7 officers on suspicion of espionage, but it's not about spying. They say the leader of the rebels is some two-faced Aurora who can see into the future. Now she is the real danger. She can see into the future, is that right? Well, we'll see about that. She's up against the wrong psyker. My breezy whispers may be vague, but they've not failed me once. I can tell you without asking my ethereal friends that her future doesn't look too bright now the Lord Captain is involved. I have no more questions. It was my pleasure to be of service to you, my lady. It's been nice to chat to someone normal. You're right. We shouldn't stay here or we might run into rebels. I'll go find a safe place to watch the sky for any landing shuttles. May the Emperor protect you. My lady, right.
Oh, what lies beyond?
That's a bit of an update from him. Let's see if there's any other blind madmen wandering around. We have explosive barrels, and we have people beside these explosive barrels. Now, I don't want to go anywhere near these explosive barrels and shoot things.
Let us seize the moment.
I would much rather blow up these explosive barrels.
A wicked thought.
Wow, and that didn't actually start combat.
A genius at work. Schemes within schemes.
Okay. I'm going to blow up a few more barrels.
See.
Because I don't want to be anywhere near them when combat starts.
A wicked thought. Let's see. Oh, a wicked thought.
I'm also going to keep destroying some rebels, which are also stood next to barrels.
In this tapestry of a world, I am the rogue thread.
Minutemen rebels, they all seem to be dying. That's interesting. Let's go back.
The stars are my canvas, and anarchy is my brush.
Let's reload.
Let's see.
And let's go back to sniping a few people.
Another one! Another annoyance! Are you ready to die?
All right. Plan of the game: get to the end without dying. Other than that, we're obviously going Iconoclast. We're so we're going to try and recruit everybody because we didn't do that in the first one because of Dogmatic. Yeah, we didn't do that for being Dogmatic. So there was that. Stabby, stabby, shooty, stabby, shooty, stabby, stabby, or beaty, but still the same. Melee. Okay. Yeah, because we missed quite a few of our allies, you could go and say, in the last one due to the fact that we were Dogmatic, and so things didn't overly go too well. Rebel Agitator. Oh. Apart from this guy who has a pistol, he's kind of the only shooty guy. The commander. He needs to die as well, but we've got a long way before we actually get a go. So I actually think a little bit. I'm going to go and stick myself in cover back here, if I'm honest. Don't put you behind half cover. Argenta can stick yourself in there. You can stick yourself in apparently half cover. Abelard's in there, and then Adira and Cass can come this way. And let's start the fight. Because we're going to have to weather a bit of a storm here. But yeah, so that's the plan, to kind of just explore the stuff that we didn't really explore last time.
Let's make it quick.
I mean, I came to Rykad Menorah second,
Let's get to it.
as opposed to third like last time. I should be out of grenade range, which is good. I'm hoping none of these other fighters have grenades. I don't think they will have. Oh, he has a smoke grenade, but that's not really too much of a thing. I just want to shoot him, because he has a frag grenade. And so how are we looking? Oh, pretty much everybody. So Kibala, there's a Bruiser Rebel and a Minuteman Rebel at the back. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. Fortunately, people are slightly out of range here, huh? Can we get anybody? No, we really can't. Well, that's highly annoying. I think we potentially let them all keep coming to us then, if I'm perfectly honest. I assume that will go from one round to the next. We'll check that out. Should do. So, I mean, I'll use the AP this turn. CC is going to attempt to shoot the Rebel. I can't see the Rebel Commander. That's highly annoying. But then we're going to go for the Rebel Agitator in the background, who I can't see either. I can't see a lot of people. There's a lot of stuff in the way. No, wait, I can't see anybody. Well then. Well, that's kind of annoying, of course. See, I mean, no, we're behind cover with a gun slit, and yet I can't shoot through it. That's highly annoying. Find out. I mean, kind of what's the point of being behind cover with a gun slit if you can't shoot through it? Okay, we're not gonna do anything with CC this turn. Now, can Argenta surely shoot something? No, she is, she's blocked off from shooting everybody as well. We're gonna come to here. And we're gonna attempt to...
Guided by faith.
Oh, I should have used the rapid fire skill.
Not yet. Not by your hand.
Nice, nice though. I took out the commander, which was my biggest concern. We're gonna use that, and then we're gonna use run and gun to very sadly just go back into cover.
I will bathe this battlefield in righteous fury.
And unfortunately, that's all she wrote. So I'm guessing Adira can't see anybody either, because again, this annoying cover system thing that's going on. Let's give forewarning to Abelard. Then let us... So all of these guys are melee. None of them have anything particularly special. The Rebel Agitator is the only one that could be a little bit annoying. And so... let's just... I think it's time to charge now. We not get a triple, or we can get a triple on the go. That's beautiful.
Cover me.
Be gone.
Beautiful bit of damage. And... oh, let's see if we can blind the Rebel Agitator. How did we do? How did we do? Sensory deprivation and blinded. Fantastic. So that's going to help out a lot there. Let's bring Caster here, and let's attempt to melt everybody's brains, basically. And if I can also get rid of some cover at the same time.
If you insist, Lord Captain. Grace, at least.
That will also open up firing lanes. Now, we've only got 3 guys left alive. Let us... increase Abelard statistics. We have a bonus. Oh, I don't think I'm going to be able to charge anybody. No suitable path. Okay. But let us try come to here and maybe... no, we're just not making it, quite frankly.
I've seen worse battles than this in my time.
We have, however, gotten rid of most of the chaff. And he just got shotgunned to the face, so we'll take that. We may as well then use the heroic act. I'm going to come all the way back here. And start taking out this agitator.
Grey hair, sure hair. Reduced to dust.
And once again, well, we can't actually charge because we've gone and used it. Oh, he's just outside of range.
A tactically sound approach.
Let us go and endure, and that will be Abelard. And let's see what we get. Oh, smoke grenade. That's fine. Not a problem with that at all. I'm going to come and take out this guy.
I bring mercy and retribution.
And yep, that carried over through the effect. Yep, through the smoke grenade. Giant splattering of blood. I'd love to get a bit more range on death from above, if I'm honest. That is going to be everything. I don't think CC can see this person yet still. No. Let's just skip Argenta. Tav, you come here and scream at him.
I know what is to come.
And then let's just skip through you. Let's just skip through Cass. And then let's just kill this guy. He parried. He parried. He's not allowed to parry.
It will be done.
Let's just keep going. He's not really a danger. There you go. Let us... And so set up on land, they deal 10 damage to all adjacent enemies.
I shall not fail.
Then let us go and blade dance against random targets, including allies. We need to remember that. And there you go. Oh, we got a shiny pair of boots. Whenever the wearer deals damage to an enemy, the wearer has a 25% chance to gain 2 MP. And then a whole bunch of chaff.
What torments you?
I'm not going to go in that direction.
One step at a time. Amidst
We
the
have some
madness.
goods. We have not a lot, too much else. Let's quickly go to our inventory. Removes bleeding, burning, and toxin damage. What else can you do for me? Has combat, medici, or field medic talents. The amount of restored wounds will be increased. Heals 1 fresh injury, or if none, 1 old injury upon a successful medici test. It says that. I'm sure that counts as a trauma.
I'm at your service.
I'm gonna give it one more go. Needs a successful test to be passed. No.
My appreciation.
You definitely can get rid of those, but it obviously just takes a medical kit that I can't quite remember. And so what do we have? We have so much stuff to look at. Let's have a quick look. What exactly do I have open to us? A few little bits and bobs. Unflinching heroism would not be bad. Weapon personalization? I mean, it says that deals physical damage. I'm sure las weapons count as physical damage. For each adjacent ally, the soldier deals 10% more damage to enemies. Whenever the soldier deals damage, their critical damage is increased. For 3 different enemies, the soldier gains 20% more damage for their next attack in the current combat. Yeah, I'm going to go and grab that. That's a pretty easy one. And then for our skills, let's not go demolition, because there's a fair chance that Kibula's going to really push that up as well. But then the others as well are not really my thing. Because we're not really going athletics. We're not going to be pushing strength. Awareness. Oh, I suppose let's go awareness. We're on 60. How does everybody else's awareness stack up? Cass and Nadira are both really high as well. But hey, that's fine. Let's have a look. You were kind of pushing athletics, weren't you, old man? You were. Peruse is also kind of one of your skills. Coercion is not. Demolition is not. And Medicae kind of is. Detect and cure injuries that the character suffered in combat. It increases the number of wounds restored by medikits and allows use of higher quality medikits. A high Medicae skill also assists in healing old injuries before they would turn into traumas. Yes. I'm actually going to go for Medicae skill. Although, in fact, I say that. Is he winning? No, Kibula is winning. Kibula might actually become my medic. So in which case, let's push you down athletics. And then... single shot or attack on a melee attack and target the warrior gains 70% armor against attacks made by that target for 1 round. I believe there is something... probably in a future class about attacking everybody that attacks you. No, attacking everybody you parry. Whenever the warrior is attacked, they gain 1 stack of epicenter of slaughter until the end of combat. At the start of their turn, the warrior gains +1 temporary wounds for each stack. Warrior gains +6 damage deflection against the first attack made by every enemy this combat. Sure. I like that. That'll do lovely for damage mitigation. If only we have to wait till level 9. It's such a pain. I think stronger together. Humanity's finest, I'm going to guess willpower. Yes, why not? Let's go ahead and spread that round. A few people that would love to benefit from that. At the beginning of every combat, the Psychic allies gain 50% critical hit chance. Psychic powers gain additional 7% armor penetration. First dodge attempt of every enemy in combat suffers a -14% penalty. Deals mental damage from any source other than aftershock. The target suffers half as much mental damage at the end of the next turn. Enemies that have taken damage from the Psycho at least once suffer a -20% penalty to all resistance tests. Kills an enemy with psychic power dealing more damage than the target's wounds. The excess damage will be dealt to the closest enemy. Yes. Let's go ahead and do that. That makes that lightning attack even more scary. What have we got? What have we got? What have we got? Demolition expert. Additional damage dealt with ranged area attacks. Yes, let's start to do that. That in essence doubles the bonus damage from area attacks. Now we don't quite have our area attack yet, but let's start to build it up. And on that then let's build up our demolition even more. Because athletics you're not really winning, Medicae you're not really winning, although it is a useful skill to have. And awareness. So no, let's build up your demolition. 1 rank available. We can go and grab... Ooh, in fact, we've probably got... Yes, got all of this, which is so much better. Every enemy the Navigator has in their line of sight has its dodge and hit chance reduced by 5. Let's... But of course, as well, always grab things like Nimble. Go and grab that. And okay, our skills. Commerce, kind of currently winning. Persuasion, very much winning. Carouse, no. Coercion, yes. Law of the Imperium, not so much. Awareness, doesn't have to be, so this will free her up to do some other things. And Law of the Warp, I'm thinking Persuasion. Let's boost that up even more. And hit complete. And then... Yes, I think you're going to be going for Medicae by the looks of it. Although Demolition is also beautifully high. That's just because your agility is going to be going so beautifully high. Awareness, Carouse. Carouse is also pretty high, but not quite there. Let's go for Medicae. And next... It uses the Fellowship bonus. A Void Bond character can instead use the Intelligence bonus if it is higher. Yeah, kind of, but not really. Anytime a Void Bond character scores a critical hit, there's a 10% chance to deal double the damage. Kind of thinking a little bit of Nimble as well, because she is going to be out and about and never in cover. I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. 100% chance to dodge. That is beautiful. And so...
Attention to detail is the key to success. This ocular implant was a worthwhile investment.
Disarm the trap, please.
I better myself through my
Shouldn't
service.
have any trouble with traps. Because, I mean, her demolition
the Emperor
is
favors me today.
at something stupid like 80 already.
Duty prevails.
The insurgents walked a fine line. Now, when we come over here, we're going to get... a beautiful scene of incompetency, basically.
Change is coming. The edge is nigh.
The blinded ones are harmless. No sense in shooting them and drawing attention.
Fire on the nearest target! Don't kill the tech freak!
But are they all blind?
Find it and let their enemies win. Fall back!
May knowledge be thy fate. Let the cycle be discontinued.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Pascal. The man dressed in crimson should not have survived an explosion like that. However, he is alive. You hear the wheezing of the respirator that covers half of his face.
Not another step.
He's threatening us.
Flee. For I have death.
By the throne! What is that servant of the Omnissiah made of? Adamantine? Ah, placid.
Abelard, this is no time to lose your composure. Present me.
Rogue trader Von Valancius greets you, honored tech priest, and graciously grants you permission to remain in her presence.
I think that's always nice of me.
I identify you as a member of a high stratum belonging to Rogue Trader House Von Valancius. I am detecting no need for confrontation. The convoy received an order to meet you. It is no longer functional. Therefore, I propose that we continue to advance to the rendezvous point with the governor's soldiers.
Who are you?
I identify as Magos Pascal Haneman of the priesthood of Mars. By the grace of the Omnissiah, I am currently assigned to the maintenance personnel of the station Altar Templum Calixis X-17.
Altar Templum Calixis. I have heard the name before. The station appears on House Orselio's star charts, in the Furibunda system, not far from the void colony of Footfall. You have traveled a long way to come here, esteemed Magos.
Why do you wish to see the governor?
I came here to carry out a sacred mission. My mentor, Archmagus Amonat, summoned me, and I hastened to answer his call. but the rabble's unrest prevented our meeting, and I was on my way to Governor Medina to determine my mentor's current location. My escort was ordered by their commander to discontinue their movement and await to be merged with your group. Then, due to their incompetence, they let themselves be killed. It was an unacceptable complication to my task.
You appear to be injured. You should go back. You will be given medical attention. I don't want to be able to lose him as a character, though, because I do want to play his story arc, etc. But I don't know if I overly want him in my retinue right now. I don't want to lose him. Let's try it.
The suffering of the flesh is a negligible factor. Metal conquers. Meat is conquered.
Okay, no, he is in fact refusing to go back anyway, and he is now part of my party. So we have to take him. Who am I willing to give up? I kind of want to keep Kibala, if I'm honest. He's very, very useful at this point. Who do I... Yes, who do I want to... Who am I happy to not have in the party? This is kind of hard. I mean, Cass is really useful as an officer, plus, you know, some of her psycho abilities. Adira is also really good for crowd control and psycho abilities. Abelard is kind of my tank running forward and making himself a problem. Now, Kibala, I suppose, could do that? I'm kind of leaning a bit towards Argenta. Who, again, is also very, very useful. But no, we'll get rid of Argenta. I mean, I can play the soldier. There are certain things Argenta can do that I probably can't do so well as my character. But we'll go for that for now. I'm probably not going to play with Pascal in my retinue in general this playthrough. But let's have a look. He also is actually really good for, obviously, logic and tech use, because he has very high intelligence. On that, let's put up intelligence. Let's go next. Let's get rid of that, of course. We're going to have to go through all of this, which I'm not going to do right now. Use persuasion, coercion, and commerce based on intelligence instead of fellowship. That puts them up nice and high. Let's get next. Let's go for... I mean... Yeah, I don't know. It's possibly deflecting against a burning effect and flame weapons. 10% bonus to hit chance and dodge reduction against any attack they hit with a single target attack. Let's... Oh, how about Medicae Macandrite? Yeah, no, probably not, actually. Use perception by +10. Let's go and grab that. And... go and add +5 to weapon skill. Whoops, seem to have jumped forward somehow a little bit. Yes, so next. Ah, right, so it's just telling me to pick one of these. Joint analysis, precise attack, intimidation. That, and I suppose we'll bump up logic by 10. Oh, we're still going. We got another one. Let's... Suppose weakness also reduces enemies' toughness and willpower by -15 for 1 round. And let's go for a bit more parry. Please. Yeah, he's pretty tough. Pretty tough. Let's have a quick look at his equipment. Of course, we can go and throw on things like Operator's Gloves. Grants +3 logic. And also... he needs heavy weapon. Heavy armor, that's why. Leave that there for now. Let's come back to Pascal. Whenever the wearer deals damage to an enemy, the wearer has 25% chance to gain 2 MP. Let's give that to our Blade Dancer. How do these swords stack up against yours? Slightly better than the second one, to be honest. Let's just mark them all to go to cargo from now on. And... yeah, that'll probably just about do it. Okay. Okay. Of course, has his holier than holy axe, Omnisire axe, and that will be everybody.
Ha! There will be no peace in my wake.
Let's can you have a little look around? Nice. Grab a few more goods. Grab a few more beautiful items.
Hey,
oh.
What's that?
More goods. Ooh. New bolter when we don't have Argenta anymore. Hilarious. And yeah. Get a new bolter just as we give up Argenta. Now that area is
Curiosity sings
blocked
in my veins.
Heard it here first, folks. Curiosity.
I am registering a significant quantity of non-essential self-harm inflicted by this unit. Requesting clarification.
Talking to the Blade Dancer, I believe.
You reshape your body so that it may reflect the depth of your devotion. So too do I reshape mine. The scars on my skin become prayers, and my every torment turns into zeal.
You heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first. We're going to keep her in that. He is wearing a simple armored body glove. He is now wearing a carapace chest plate. So... plus 5% dodge if the wearer's agility is more than 40. So that's not going to affect you. I don't know if 40 counts. Nope. Nope. It had to be more than 40. What's your agility? 55. So we'll actually have a nice bit of you. Agility percentage, dodge, and parry against melee attacks. Plus 5 agility. So if I take that off, I technically lose 10% dodge against melee attacks anyway. So we may as well just keep that on, because that kind of ends up coming back to the same thing. Right, yes, if I could somehow get just like 1 agility. Beautiful. And that would in fact get me... I suppose it's only 5% dodge, but that does get me 10% more armor. Actually, 5% more armor. On the other hand, you could equip this. Doesn't that look absolutely terrible? But it is 5% more armor, so let's go for it. We'll get a nice pretty body glove for her to put back on afterwards. And
what lies beyond?
So she looks proper. Again, what's going on here? Which whining. I've seen the tech priest do it twice. I once even brought a sensor to him, of course. They'll live. Okay then.
They will see. Oh yes, they all will see.
Logic 100% from Pascal.
Operation successful.
Oh, attempt at defiance.
I'll turn you into corpse starch.
Okay then. I'm going to mostly hide. No, I think I might slightly 100% hide, if I'm honest. Let's just let the turrets have a bit of fun whilst they all run towards me, and anything that gets past them, I'll finish off. Sounds like a plan. So we're down to 8 people. Let's have a deer come
What
left.
is this foreboding?
And you can simply wait there a turn.
Make it quick. Let's get to it.
Pascal, get yourself in here. Oh, that was funny. Abelard can wait there. Cass can getting better cover.
Scared yet?
Let's get to it.
These people are hilarious.
Time to slaughter someone.
These people are absolutely hilarious. Oh, they're lovingly lining up for a couple of
Out of my way.
area of attack shots.
Die, die, die.
Yeah, they're dead. Okay, we're down to 5 people. Down to 4 people. Yep, 1, 2, 3. There's the 4th on the right.
Hold on.
I will pop out.
Let's get to it.
They're also dead. Can't quite see them.
Through the smoke
Let's
and gunfire.
pop out and say hello. Yeah, he dead. Let's run and gun. Why not? And then let's just... sure. Just going to melted him as well. Let's let the turrets
Let's get to it.
have a bit more fun. Oh, and everybody's still standing.
They who discern the future own the battlefield.
My place is at the fore.
Yes, it is.
I have read tomes of military tactics.
Army maggot.
You don't frighten me.
How dare you shoot at Cass?
The storm approaches.
Let's just keep shooting people.
Another stroke of genius. A genius at work.
Let's just keep firing away.
Fate claims another one.
They're gonna mount eventually, basically. So that's how you make a fight a little bit easier. You turn 2 absolutely glorious melter turrets on your side, and you melt everybody. Basically. One did get a little bit further forward, it seems. It didn't get too far. That's a lot of knives and a lot of Psy skins. Streets of the capital. Now, if I just quickly check my map, we do have a little bit of a route to... Oh, it's not going to tell me. That goes to Streets of the capital. That goes somewhere unknown. We did, however, miss a little bit of loot as well. Well, we'll possibly get. Depends if it's off a dead person or not. There you go. We probably are going to get that then. Yeah, let's go to the streets of the capital. Now, this place, this is not a one route, we say, open area map. There are several areas you can kind of get to from different angles. And mostly it's going to be all about simply killing as many heretics along the way. We can get to the starport there. Oh, there's also a little bit of a map up here for some reason. Have a look at the beautiful view of a giant hole in a building. The upper extends across a wide bridge which is suspended high above the rolling waters of the river below. The bridge is densely packed with imposing and ostentatious buildings designed to flatter the vanity of the local elite, who are all currently lying in a pile of rubble. I wonder how their vanity feels right now.
One step at a time, amidst the madness.
Okay. A young warden, right. Well, I know what's going to happen here from the last time we played this game. But we are, however, going to find out that for the rest of us next stream. Because we have come to the end of the stream, and I think this is a pretty good place to end it before we start exploring the further streets of Rykad Menoris. And so on that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for joining me. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you will continue to join us for more Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader madness. Well, kind of madness. It's actually trying to be kept very much under control, because the more control I have, the less likely I am to die. Look at that, just juggling a knife. And of course, that is the whole point of this playthrough. We are on the Grim Darkness playthrough, and so we are very much trying to survive to the end of the game with our ass intact. And so, as I said, until next time, thank you all very much for joining me. I hope you are enjoying it so far. And until we see you again, as per always, I hope that you will stay safe